beer and pickle is a classic pairing.
You know what actually was really good together? It was the pickle and risotto.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you have that cream and then you have that acid to cut through it.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've noticed this, but Mitchell's already started recording.
I'm well aware.
I
Okay,
feel like
cool.
the texture would be nice too because you have like the softness of a risotto, but that nice crunch of a good crunchy pickle.
Yeah, no, I just found out to be just like an amazing pairing.
Oh, you're going to show us more of my pickles?
Fuck yeah, I am.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stormcast Eternals.
I'm touching Philip cylinder penis shaved vegetables.
Still a pickle.
You know, there's some people that hate it when they're
ASMR. Is this the ASMR podcast?
Yeah,
Do I need to
like
get things?
At this point, I've gone right up to the mic and just laced a couple times.
I am well aware.
If they wanted to leave, they'd be gone by now.
Well, let's do the small introductions. I am Mitchell. Mr. Sir Strokes a lot.
Oh, yes. We should really get you checked out one of these days. Anyway, I'm Philip. Thank you for joining us again today.
I am the Jacob.
The Jacob. The
Yes.
one and only. The truly penultimate Jacob.
And
Yeah.
a longtime friend and listener to the podcast.
Hi, I'm Sean. Very nice to meet you.
This is the Sean.
Yes. So, Sean's been listening to us basically since day one, and he's an old friend of ours, and we decided to go ahead and invite him onto the show this evening.
I mean, accurate.
What this really means is Sean knows nothing, so he's going to make us feel really smart.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
Basically. All right, so today we decided to go ahead and jump into a faction, specifically Stormcast Eternals.
Space Marine. A what?
Sigmarine.
Social media.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That's right. We were supposed to go ahead and do that.
yes. See how fast I forget things?
Yeah.
I am well aware, Mr.
One day, my son, you will be
It
cured.
hasn't even been 5 minutes yet.
Yes.
So, what?
I'm no. It's not that I don't know anything. I am the literal reminder, calendar, and compass for the three of these idiots.
I want to say he's wrong, but he's not. Anywho, so what Sean is talking about is, as y'all all clearly know, is we've been doing this for a while, and we're definitely starting to get up there with followers.
12th episode.
Hey-oh, yeah.
Well, 12th upload.
Yeah, it's our 12th upload, but we're getting ever closer to our 10th episode,
Quote unquote.
quote unquote.
Is it going to be our 10th episode?
Yeah, that's what I believe so. This is our 9th or 10th. But point being is we are very quickly reaching the end of the road when it came to what we had wanted to talk about in this podcast pre-planned. And once we get to the end of the road, we are going to start going over subjects that you, the listeners, want us to go over. And how we're going to reflect this is by going on our social media, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, when we make one, and things like that, and doing polls. And so we're going to need y'all to go on the polls and vote, which means that we're really going to need you guys to step up and start doing this stuff for us because we want to give y'all what y'all want, and we can't do that if we don't know what y'all want.
Exactly. Actually, this is a weird episode because we were supposed to do Soul Wars this one, but I was like...
Philip was crying, so we had to do Sigmarines.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's not explicitly true. No, so we've wrapped up the last podcast, and the day after that, Mitchell and I, we were sitting there, and Mitchell asked me, hey, what do we want to do on the next podcast? And I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to do factions for a while. No, you get your pickle later.
Damn it!
Behave like a good boy, and maybe I'll consider it. But no, so he asked me...
Shut up.
Thank you, Sean.
Penis!
Don't worry. What you can say will never be as bad as what we had to
It's
delete.
not as bad as
God.
Mitchell trying to conduct... You know what? Hold on. I don't want to do take two, so we're not going to go there.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, but no, so Mitchell turned to me and he asked, what do you want to do for the next episode? Because he was like, we could do the Soul Wars, but we could do something else as well. And I was like, I've been kind of wanting to do a faction for a while. And I know, some people, i.e. Julie, have been asking me for a faction episode for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and, kind of sort of do that and totally not talk about the Night Haunts at fucking all. Fuck you, Julie. And I'm going to do my favorite one, Stormcast Eternals.
It would be really weird if there was two Julies and not one Julie that's not your Julie. Goes, what did I do?
let me be a little explicit here. Or not explicit, exact. Let me be a little more exact here, precise.
Particular.
There, that's the word.
Hey, see, there's a reason why we brought him on.
Exactly.
You mean kidnap me? I mean, I'm here of my own volition.
But no, I have a cousin named Julie, and Mitchell is actually commissioning her right now to paint up all of his night haunts.
Now, commission is a really big word. She wanted to paint them for free.
I mean, yes. The point is she is painting things.
I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I made a mistake, and I didn't clock out before I got here, so I'm rectifying that mistake. So
nice.
I will be back momentarily.
Oh,
Excellent.
okay.
All right. But yes. So we're gonna go ahead and do Stormcast Eternals today.
Yeah. Yeah, Sean, are you excited? Do you know anything?
About Age of Sigmar?
Do you know what a Sigmar is?
I do know what a Sigmar is.
Well, you're on the right track then,
Wonderful. Yes, I am aware that the Sigmarines are the poster child of Age of Sigmar. I know that if you were to put tit for tat with 40k, which I know a hell of a lot more about, they're basically the Space Marines of Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, so actually, that's a good point. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your experience with Warhammer in general, and we can talk about 40k and Sigmar.
Okay, so my experience with Warhammer in general is quite literal. Well, compared to y'all, it's bubkiss. But as Einstein said, everything is relative.
I wouldn't say that
starting
exactly.
your
You lived with
first-
Cersei for a few years.
Again, bubkiss
Okay,
compared
that's
to the three of y'all.
Hey, you're about to start your first armies.
Mm.
It's not like that's my
Life pending.
It's not like that's my 7th army in a corner.
Again, life pending. I'm hoping to start my first Warhammer 40k army, hopefully at the beginning of next year. But life's been
Interesting.
Internal screaming.
There's a particular word, and I can't think about it, and the only thing that's popping into my head is
It's a profundity.
psychotic.
No, I'd say that's pretty fucking apt.
Yeah. So I started Warhammer with Jacob.
Dun 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 dun.
Weird saying the first name.
I can't.
so
I have this weird like out of body experience when I realize that literally y'all are in Warhammer because of me.
Yeah.
And it freaks me out because I got you and you into Warhammer, which got him
Sean.
into Warhammer.
Well, no.
And Philip.
He tried for a long period of time, but you actually
I
explained
explained
the lore
but
properly.
okay, so I got Sean and Philip into Warhammer through Dark Heresy, the roleplay, like I've said before, and then Philip kind of got Mitchell into it, and then he came to Big Papa. And
I'm gonna rip your nipples off. I'm be under your bed
not
tonight.
my B cups, no! And then it's weird because I feel like y'all's dad almost because y'all have gotten so far and have done like you've gotten so in the lore and the games and y'all have so much fun playing it. It just makes me happy. Like I get a little warm fuzz. I'm like I've brought so much happiness and financial woe to my friends.
I can afford
Well,
it.
you haven't quite gotten there with me yet. Also, Kat trying to pull down.
The cats do crackhead things. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
don't
it.
Now,
worry
to be
about
fair, Sean, you don't need my help to have financial woe.
I mean, you were not fucking wrong.
The day that I could look Mitchell in the eyes and understand that he just blew like $1,000 on plastic, I will know that my job as a Warhammer mentor will be complete.
Whereas I walk in. What was that? I walked into the apartment with 3 D&D books, and I'm like, seriously, help.
I'm trying to transition, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
But no, so yeah, I
That's
started.
$500 worth of plastic.
I know you've taken so many glorious steps,
Next
I
step,
didn't.
Warlord.
and then the step after that would be homelessness. You're surrounded by your models, like look at all of my children.
And his 2 cats.
And these 2 cats. At that point, I think I'd have to repossess my cats.
Anyway.
Oh,
So, yeah,
okay. I'm sorry. Before we start, I do have a quick funny thing. I think you were there when James told you, but he was on TikTok, and it was a TikTok about a dude taking his dog to go get a surgery, and the surgery was like $4,500, but this particular breed of dog cost like $600. So he walks up to like the veterinary assistant and goes, "Yeah, I think y'all totaled my dog." And the look in her eyes when someone said, "You totaled my dog," and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, I can replace this particular make and model for $600." He's like, "But you love the dog?" He goes, "Yes, ma'am, I do, and I'll love the next one." So she goes back to the vet, comes back and goes,
That surgery will only be $500.
And he was like, y'all may think I'm an asshole, but I see it as a win. I save my money and my pet. But just that phrase, y'all totaled my dog, has stuck with me for about 3 days now. And now that I know it, I need y'all to know it and all of you unlucky fuckers to know it as well.
You totaled a lot of them because I got that cat for free.
Oh, I completely totaled a lot of them.
Good God.
All right, so Jacob, I will give you pickle if you shut up and let Sean finish his statement.
Quickly, Sean, while he's launching.
I was surprised.
I was there. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Sorry, that's...
Okay,
Anyway.
we just watched a grown ass man deep throat a pickle.
Hey,
No
man.
big deal.
I'll do a lot for pickled cucumbers.
Like a competitive hot dog eating contest.
It was there, and then it wasn't.
The whole thing is a spit take of pickle juice, Philip?
Do it.
Anyway, so yeah, I started off with the Warhammer Dark Heresy roleplay. I got more in... I was really fascinated by the tech priest, and I play a tech priest that infuriates Jacob to this day.
I have fun with it.
It's fun, though. It absolutely is. However, when I come to him with an idea, he's just like...
So much of what you're saying is pure heresy.
Exactly. And I'm just sitting here like, but will it work?
I have a whole sub-campaign with completely different players that are devoted to hunting down Philip and Sean's current Dark Heresy characters. That's the type of dumb shit they get into. I have a whole campaign revolve around hunting them down and skinning them.
Dude, Ignatius and O'Brien get to work together again.
Oh no.
Yes.
I have something for you later.
Yes. I like where this is going. We'll talk about this later.
Anyway,
Glorious things are happening.
So it's only recently I took a good 2 years away from y'all, pretty much.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah.
But just life and
because
shit.
Life.
Yeah.
And yeah. Anyway,
I've only lived here for 6 months.
I'm well aware.
So I'm the reason why you're back.
Not gonna say it's a coincidence, but
Sean is the remedy to the strokes.
I mean you're not wrong. Anyway,
Well, yeah,
So,
and
and
now
now
he has less
I'm-
airtime.
I have no comment.
Damn, son, where'd you find that?
Up my ass.
Apparently, because you talk out of it. So,
Heyo.
I'm just now starting my Warhammer 40k army. Hopefully again next year because
Life.
and
Buying houses is fun.
well, moving for the second time this year. Hopefully this month, as well as I have a little demon on the way, and that's fun.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're gonna be
Yeah.
a papa.
Yeah,
Knowing my luck, because me and Jess are the godparents.
one of the
The literal,
multiple.
but
yeah.
even though, but they said that we are the first choice. Is the literal
Yeah.
second that kid pops out, you and your other are gonna just fucking die immediately, and it's gonna be just ding dong baby, and you just be sitting there just
to
like.
be fair,
I'm almost mad they're dead. Like, I almost feel insulted.
To be fair, life has tried to kill me 4 times now, and I'm still here.
Your gallbladder
So-
is gonna grow back just to explode and actually get you this time.
I mean, my appendix is next, so
a piece of my liver, one lung, a kidney, my
Pancreatic
my
cancer.
left ventricle, my brain drowns in spinal fluid.
again.
Like,
Yeah.
So yeah.
oh god,
Anyway,
this is a long ass intro.
yeah, we're having fun with it.
Well, I'm new, so yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you mentioned about being interested in AdMech and things like that. So what are your 40k armies going to be?
So I'm gonna start off with 2 40k armies because I already have Necrons started, so I'm gonna continue to go with Necrons. Then I'm going to do AdMech, and I'm going to specifically build my AdMech army around my Dark Heresy character and Jacob's.
This means that they're technically going to be heretics.
Yeah, and they're gonna fall under Jacob's character's banner, and that's gonna be super fun to do because I get to play with I get to play with knights and
You say
potentially
cats.
titans. Well, I almost said Castellanites, and I was like, that's not technically correct because it's a different thing. Anyway, and then Because of this podcast and peer pressure, kids.
What are you
don't
talking
follow
about?
the show.
What?
I don't know what you're talking
Peer
about.
pressure? No, totally.
Swerve.
I totally wasn't the one that got all of us in the
I
table
didn't
top
start
game.
my lizard army because the look in Mitchell's eyes made me die a little inside every time I had to tell him no.
I am going to be playing Age of Sigmar as well. I'm going to build one army, at least for now. I'm sure it will.
That's not the hobby
go,
spirit.
Mitchell,
But
you've been drinking my Imperial Stouts?
This is my second one.
Excellent.
I need someone to share them with.
They're good, but they're rich.
I'm going to be doing
Cardon Overlords.
Cardon Overlords.
Flying Dwarves.
I've just been calling
Peak
them
dwarf.
Overlords.
Peak dwarf.
Peak
Because steampunk aesthetic.
The dwarviest of dwarves. Like,
So-
why be a filthy peasant and, like, walk?
Yeah. So that's that. I know a lot of lore because of Jacob. Got me into it, and I kind of need to know lore in order to be a tech priest in Dark Heresy because I'm exploring heresy.
No, he is not a, like, chaos tech priest, but he is a heretic. So basically, he's like a mini Belisarius call.
Pretty much. At the beck and call of a charismatic
Technically heretic.
Hierophant? Basically a charismatic hierophant that is almost to Space Marine Ascension, kind of to rectify the wrongs of the Empire.
We have fun campaigns.
Yeah.
They're really stupid, but we have fun campaigns.
Yeah.
My Iron Man suit is fine. Oh, God. When I almost nuked a ship. Yes, I almost nuked an Imperial ship.
You're getting no context. So,
Either way, Stormcast Eternals.
yeah, exactly. That does it.
But yeah,
It's just been 17 minutes.
As for Age of Sigmar, I've been listening to this podcast because I am good friend.
We appreciate.
Not because you love it.
No, this podcast sucks.
Bro, you know we do this just for shits and giggles. We don't give a fuck about any of the listeners. I'm kidding. Please stay with us.
Matthew, I love you still.
Matthew, please stay with us.
Man, I'm getting whiplash from these 180s that we're spinning around. I know basically nothing about Age of Sigmar except for what little I've heard Jacob talk to me about pre my life being a train wreck.
And then whatever you
Again.
heard off the podcast.
And then whatever I've heard off the podcast.
And to be fair, a lot of the stuff we talk about is background stuff that isn't like super uber important right now to the current like lore. And
to me, who's someone who's a very beginning, middle, end, and then context filler, connect dots from there, it's very helpful.
You'd be surprised how many people have that same problem for this lore, or at least had.
Well, I mean, it was the same thing. It was the same problem I had with Warhammer lore because I'm just like,
Well, with 40K, there's so much.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of the what makes Age of Sigmar a little more approachable is that they've only been writing lore for it for about like 6 years.
6
Yeah,
years
5,
now.
6 years
Yeah.
at this point.
So
Started
the-
in 2010?
2015, I thought.
15,
2015?
Yeah, 2015,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's
that's
so
what makes
Well,
this a little easier.
they also went through a complete reboot because it used to be
Fantasy.
Warhammer Fantasy.
Yes.
And then it was so sporadic and spread out that they're just like,
Well, Chaos blew everything
those
up.
dry-
well, I mean,
The Dryads in this corner, they're the fantasy models.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and the writers just took a look at this and was like, this is a literal dumpster fire that we need to put out and restart.
And
they kind of did.
It's not just that; it's also a bunch of it had to do with trademarking as well, because
Oh, yeah.
a lot of the stuff they were doing in fantasy wasn't technically 100% owned by GW, which is why they went to Age of Sigmar, and that's why you have Stormcast Eternals, why you have Durden, not dwarves, why you have elves, not elves, is because those are new things that GW can trademark and no one can fuck with.
Did you know in 40K and 30K, Cacophony Marines are spelled different?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So 30K is spelled slightly different than the 40K, so they can trademark it in the 30K game.
Heh.
That is...
Wait, is Cacophony Marine, is that
Sound
a...
Marines, right?
Sound
Yeah,
Submarines.
submarines. Yeah, those are the
Interstellar
Which
Marines.
I want to play in Dark Heresy, but I literally can't.
Are we
because
talking
of
like pre-Heresy Sound Marines, then post-Heresy, like when they were Loyalist Sound Marines and now they're Chaos Sound Marines, or are they always
A
Chaos?
Sound Marine is always
Inherently
chaos.
Chaos?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because, so I've actually read...
Because I had to do lore for that for Sonus before you told me, like, well, I shouldn't say tell, you showed me that it's
Welcome
kind of
to the
impossible to
Warhammer
do it.
ripoff.
Yeah. But no,
Fuck! Hold on, shit.
In the toilet.
Stormcast Eternals.
Yes.
Jesus, I'm so sorry.
We cannot. It's been 20
Blathering.
minutes.
Yeah.
Blathering. I'm so
This
sorry.
is why we don't have guests on very often, because we blather.
Okay.
I need everyone here to make a blather check.
Jesus Christ. We're going to have Felipe start us off because he has lots of generalized
All right,
knowledge.
so, Stormcast Eternals. Everyone shut the fuck up for the next 10 minutes while I talk.
No, you say 10. It's going to be 45.
I know what I'm about, son.
Can
All right.
you explain what a Sigmar is?
I need
What
to
a
know.
Thigmar
Okay.
is. Well, Thigmar is god of Thigmar.
I thought it was Sigmars. Because
Smack the
you
shit out
have
of
the
you,
almighty
boy.
Sigmar, and then it
Boy,
later
I
ends,
swear
and out
unto
of the
thee,
ends,
I will smack it.
our little Sigmars.
Child, I will go get the belt.
Would they
All
be
right.
called Sig Minis?
God damn it.
Trademark HW.
Okay, no. So you make that joke, though. You are about to hear me say the word Sigmar.
90.
Or
Like,
Sig
30,
something.
Sig something, like 30 gajillion.
all I'm gonna say is the
different
fact
ones.
that our little logo has a Stormcast Eternal reading the Sigpedia. That wasn't us being clever. There's a joke behind that.
Yeah.
If I had my way, the glasses would have had Sig lens on it. It would have been a Sigmar's trademark on that dude's fucking skull. Like there's a whole joke behind it.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna count on my hands.
Stormcast Eternals. We've already talked a lot about these in the general histories because they're so prevalent to the Age of Sigmar.
Poster boys.
Yeah, so the Age of Sigmar literally starts because Sigmar drops a... Quit fucking counting! You're gonna lose fingers! Age of Sigmar literally...
I'll go get the squirt bottle.
Age of Sigmar...
Fuck both of you. I'm not the only one.
Sean, I thought you were my friend.
I am. Doesn't mean I can't make your life
Solidarity,
aggravating.
brother.
Alright. Age of Sigmar is literally both the name of the game and the start of a age of time in the lore. And it starts with Sigmar hot dropping in his fresh, brand new Stormcast Eternals.
Which we went over this last episode, which is the Realm Gate Wars.
Exactly.
Yes, he just jerked off his kids all over the mortal realms. That's what
Started
happened.
in Ashki, though. Ashki.
Akshi.
Akshi.
A lot of shit happened at Akshi.
Yeah.
It started there, and then it went to the rest.
Yep. So, how was Stormcast Eternals chosen? Let's go ahead and just start there. Stormcast Eternals are chosen from the mightiest mortal heroes of the 8 realms.
Does not have to be particularly human.
As far as we're aware, at least.
Yeah.
It does not have to be
They just
human.
all look
They haven't
humanoid.
specified, but yeah.
But, so, after the battle of... Oh, fuck, I'm gonna forget the name now. The big battle where...
Burning Sky?
Burning
Sky? Yes, Burning
That's
Sky,
when
thank
Sigmar
you.
closed the gate.
Yeah.
Look at me,
So
I'm actually
Sigmar
not
closes the gate and basically goes, man, I need a way to fuck over Chaos because, like, I'm kind of getting aggressively beat here.
And this was
And
in
so-
the Age of Chaos. This is when the battle
This
of
was
Burning
during the
Skies
Age of
happened.
Chaos. This was when Chaos basically gained full control of the other 7 realms. So he closes the gates, and Sigmar goes to Grungi and basically says, hey, we need a way to fight back against Chaos. And he looks at Dracothion's kids. The children of Dracothion, like the actual dragons, they are immortal. When they die, they are eventually reborn. Because of, that's just how their nature is. So Sigmar sees this and he draws inspiration from it. And so he and Grungi get together and they're like, hey, how can we recreate this? And that is what ultimately led to the Stormcast Eternals. So when a mighty hero dies on the other 7 realms, and a mighty hero is just someone who's pure of heart and who actively fights against chaos. So this could be literally like a 13-year-old boy who picked up a pitchfork to try and fight off a chosen
Aspiring champion.
yeah, like an aspiring champion or something.
Question, because when I was reading, I think it stated it didn't have to be particularly that they were battle hardened, because I think it was also just it was faith and loyalty.
Yeah, like, as long as they were pure of soul and they were resolute in spirit, you can be trained to fight.
You have the potential to become a
Yeah,
Stormcast.
you can be trained
So
to
when
fight,
you
but having
die-
that spiritual strength to fight demons and not shit yourself, that's something you're kind of born with.
Yeah. So when that happens, Sigmar plucks up their soul in a bolt of lightning and draws them into Azir. What's up?
And something I wanted to say real quick is that when Sigmar went to Grungy and said, let's do dumb shit, if y'all remember from previous episodes, another reason why Grungy did this so fervently for Sigmar is because he owed Sigmar that favor for rescuing him and his brother off of that mountain. Mm-hmm. This is how this got paid back. In full, in my opinion.
Well, it was, I think it was actually like over 5 times over, clearly.
Yeah, clearly. Grungy paid. I mean, Grungy basically abandoned his kids to death to pay his due.
So Grungy and Sigmar then spend the next 500 years building up forces.
I got a quick question.
What's up?
So remember when I was reading how like Stormcast are like trained where they got their experience, but it was within this 500 years, it stated that they were fighting orc tribes and like beasts that were tainted by chaos and Azir. Since we don't have a great timeline, do you think Stormcasts were created early on, but it just took a while to build up the numbers?
So
Because
what I'm gonna say
because
is
that's
that,
part of the cleansing of Azir.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna say is that basically Sigmar closes the gates. And he's seeing all the destruction that comes from the fall of Burning Skies. Like, from the failure of Burning Skies. And he immediately goes and seeks out Grungy. And they basically immediately start on this project.
Okay, to be fair, it was 4 days of contemplation.
Yeah, but that's, compared to 500 years, that's pretty fucking quick.
Yes.
And I remember correctly, there were a bunch of like inquisitions damn near and cleansings of any chaos cults and taint in Azir.
Yeah.
And that is where a bunch of the Stormcast got their experience from. That and the Sigmar...
No, the Gladiatorium.
I thought it was called the Sigmar
tribes.
Labrum, or the fuck it's called.
Okay, so there's the big city called Sigmar something or another. That's where the Gladiatorium is.
Okay, because
it's either there or it's in the Sigmar.
Because I know that was a gift from Malekith, or Malarion, specifically so he can spy on them while they were training.
Yeah, it was actually... so another important thing to know, it was actually the final contribution of the elves, of the Elven gods, to Sigmar that allowed that to happen. They were the ones who hid the realm of Azir from Tzeentch, so that Tzeentch couldn't know what was going on.
Which is a fucking task.
Yeah, it took Malarion, Teclis, and Tyrion, like all of their might to do this together. I don't exactly know what Snake Lady was doing at the time.
Snake Lady things.
Yeah,
exactly.
Seducing Nagash, probably.
Getting put in her place by Nagash, you mean?
Heyo.
Be gone. Thought.
Yeah. So, the first one forged is the Celestin Prime, but he doesn't wake up because he wakes up later
You
after
mean
receiving
Carl Franz?
We don't know that.
I will die on this hill.
But yeah, Sean, you look confused.
No, names.
He don't know who Carl Franz.
I'm still learning names and connecting dots.
Carl Franz was the leader of the Empire during in fantasy in the world that was.
Yeah.
It's a.
Okay. Because one important thing to note is it's not many, but not all of the souls that were turned into Stormcast were from the 8 mortal realms. They also did harvest souls from the surface of Malice, the remnants of the world that was. So we very easily could see,
Gelt.
Carl Franz, Gelt, yeah.
There's a whole story about Gelt possibly being a Stormcast, isn't there?
No, I know. I believe he is a Stormcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's how they explain that. How they get those old human heroes back.
They did Cedric dirty.
To be fair,
Guys. This is Lordcast Eternals, not Fantasy Eternals.
he's not technically dead. He just disappeared, and then the world exploded. But he's a Skelly boy. He might not be dead. He might just be floating off.
No. When we get to the end of this, I will go on my rant about how they did Cetra dirty.
New bonus episode, yes.
Yeah, more like 30-minute rant at the end of this episode.
Bonus episode, yes.
All right. So
the ranting.
Anyway, getting back on topic though. So the Stormcast are created over these 500 years, and they fight orcs, they fight chaos, corruption, they fight each other in the Gladiatorium, all to gain experience. So when the Age of Sigmar ultimately starts, and we see the battle for the Burning Peninsula, this is one of the most proficient fighting forces ever witnessed. what makes Stormcast also very important is that they are effectively immortal.
Well, not only that, but they're imbued by the power of Sigmar, so they're not only... Because they could have been really weak in their original state.
Yes.
The Sigma
Well,
was
like-
like,
So they gained courage, or like they have so much more bravery. Their armor
It's not necessarily that their emotions are any more strengthened. It has a lot more to do with their physical prowess.
And resolve.
And then the power of Sigmar, that little shard of his divinity, does grant them like a strengthened resolve and a strengthened will to fight. But that's not.
But they also gained
necessarily-
just a whole lot of strength. While they were
just
forged,
physical.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Something I think you forgot to mention as well is that when Sigmar was plucking souls to make his Stormcast, he not only did he get souls from the remnants of Malice and from the mortal heroes that died fighting Chaos, he also just grabbed some people who were already dead, chilling in Shaiish.
Yeah.
He was like, oh
absolutely
yeah,
right.
you died like 400,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is really what pissed off Nagash.
Yeah. No, that's
He
yeah.
plucked from Nagash's guard, and Nagash was like, my tomatoes. You some bitch.
But yeah, so and the process of creating a Stormcast is as follows. So a soul is selected. They then travel up to the Palace of Sigmar, which has another name with fucking Sigmar in the title. We're not going to go over it. Moving on. So they then feast. The soul feasts in the halls of Sigmar for 3 days to prepare it for the trials ahead. It then goes to
The ultimate Denise platter.
my man.
Now, all I'm
The China
saying,
King buffet.
if
my
I
dude.
had to do something like for real, and I went to Denny's and I was like, give me like 14 lumberjack platters, I'd be ready to fight God or become him.
But yeah, so that's basically what's happening though. So for 3 whole days, the souls do nothing but feast to prepare themselves for the coming trials, because these trials are fucking ridiculous.
And what was the name again of the actual like smith or the place where they were forged into?
We haven't
Stormcast?
gotten there yet.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's called the Anvil of Apotheosis.
That's the name. It's been on the tip of my tongue.
but we haven't gotten there yet.
Gotcha.
So they then go off to complete these trials at the Temple of the Broken World.
Chamber of the Broken World.
Chamber of the Broken World, thank you. So they go through multiple trials at the Chamber of the Broken World, and it's supposed to be 7 by 7 trials. So 49 trials is the number that I read. But I've also read 21 trials. Not entirely sure. Need to do a little more digging into that one. Anyway, it's a lot of fucking trials, and any souls that succeed through here are now ready to be forged into Stormcast.
How long does this process take?
It doesn't specify. And the actual details of the trials are known only to Grungy, Sigmar, and a select few of the sacrosanct chambers of various
When
different
I was reading
farmhouses.
through, I'm pretty sure I read something saying like the time it took to pass through these trials differed on soul. Like sometimes it'd be like really really fast, like a heartbeat, and sometimes it'd be like years or centuries it'd take them. It just depended on the soul.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it's 100% going to depend on the soul.
Gotcha.
Because
Well, no, it's the 2 gods, so Sigmar, Grungy, and the 6 myths know all the trials.
no. It's at first it's just Grungy and Sigmar, and that's it. And then Grungy brings in his 6 smiths, and then so he can leave.
Yeah, Grungy
and then the
doesn't-
6 smiths during the Realm Gate Wars, they get so overwhelmed by the sheer number of souls coming to them, because they're not just forging new souls, they're also reforging old souls, that they actually have to get this is where the Sacrosanct Chamber is founded.
Yeah.
The Lords Arcanum, the Knights and Cantors, specifically so they can help with the reforging process. So they do actually know the secrets of reforging.
Yeah, because Grungy didn't.
But we haven't gotten there yet.
Grungy didn't even bring in the 6th myth till he was like, "Oh shit, I'm being a bad dad."
Yeah.
but that was specifically why he brought them in, because he realized he had abandoned his children, basically.
Yep. Yeah, that is 100% why. So, Grungy kicks off his shit and starts reforging souls. So the souls who succeed are then stripped down to their most basic soul stuff. So literally, they are broken down to the most like basic elements they can be, and stripped of all impurities. because mortals, as pure as we can aspire to be, are still inherently flawed, even if it's only minor flaws. But all of those are stripped out by this process.
It is the soul stuff before the trials, then after the trials, they get his flesh and blood.
No, I'm pretty sure it's trials first.
No, I'm reading it here. First, the raw soul stuff is literally molten and reforged into tempering, or the gifts of the gods, and the most, and it must endure the 7 times 7 trials. And then after that, when it completes that, it will be made into flesh and blood once more.
Okay. Well, no. That's the reforging process.
Oh.
The forging process is a little different. But no, you're right. There's 2 sets of trials. That's what it is. For the initial forging, there's another set of trials before the stripping of the soul.
Oh, see, I was confused. Okay.
Yes. Sorry. No, that is my bad, but you're absolutely right. So I believe there are 3 trials, which is where I was getting that 21 number from. There are 3 trials in the initial forging process, followed by an additional 49 trials.
Okay, so it's...
And everyone has to go through those 49 again during reforging.
Okay, and this is the reason why every single time a Stormcast is reforged, it loses a parts of its personality, or it gets like
There's a lot of different things that happen due to reforging.
Also,
and it changes
Nagash,
on soul to soul.
Nagash is also a part of that too, because whenever one dies, he's like, I'm gonna steal back a little piece of that soul because he's trying to get them back to him.
Yeah, and that's why the Sacrosanct Chamber was released from their duties at the Anvil of Apotheosis, was specifically to find a way to prevent the...
Nagash's bullshit?
No, not Nagash's, but just in general, to prevent the degradation of the soul due to reforging.
Which I will get into a list of what those side effects are when we get done.
Yes, whenever we get there, because we're kind of jumping around a little bit.
When we talk about the souls starting to like degrade from being reforged so many times, you know what it really, really reminds me of?
Gene Steed Falls?
Star Wars. Oh. When you had clones being cloned off of clones. Yeah. That's what that reminds me of.
Clones. That's not just Star Wars. That's just science in general.
Yeah,
because you have the degradation of the original because
after
mutations,
so long,
mutations happen. I mean, if again tick for tat, it's like the gene seed mutations from Warhammer 40k, but trying to stay away from that.
But it is a good comparison.
It's not the same, but that's what I get is when you take one thing and put it through. It kind of comes down to like the philosophical debate of like. The body and the soul are separate, and like your body may be immortal, but your soul can only live and go through so much before it just starts to degrade.
There is something that actually happens with that, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Continue, my good friend.
I will. So, okay, so your soul has now been forged, whatnot, or has now been stripped of all impurities. You are now imbued with essence of starlight and the very divinity of Sigmar himself. And from that seed grows your now immortal body.
So Sigmar gives him the seed?
Up, you look like you had a question.
If it's sexual innuendo, I swear.
Do it, so
Sigmar
gives you his
seed and it grows inside you?
Technically you grow around it, but yes.
Oh man, no! I had a joke for a second, but I had to stop myself because we would be doing a take 2 from this if I said that.
Jacob, we're up to 33.
I'm not surprised.
Oh God, why?
Anyway. Okay.
Oh, I love you. Thank you.
So,
give or take 1 or 2.
Sigmar.
Okay.
How many we have now?
40 exactly.
Oh my God. We could have had 39, seriously.
Oh, just wait till we get to 66. Or, excuse me,
69.
69.
No.
He's not going to say anything, but he just sit there and be, Philip, if you say the name one more time, I'm going to chop you in the throat. And that's how you'll know.
No. All you'll hear is just, nice.
This is a Warhammer podcast. We need to say it at 66. Because that's the number of Slaanesh.
You are disgusting. Your bloodline will not survive the winter.
Excuse you. I think all of my bloodlines will survive.
Block is over there. Walther is over here.
I got my Ruger on me.
Everyone arm themselves and prepare to fire on the dirty heat night.
I got my handcuffs in the car.
Yes!
I'm sorry, no, we can't. I forget that having multiple objects penetrate him is probably Philip's wet dream.
Again, I have my handcuffs in the car.
Please, Daddy.
They don't have enough money for the cleaning bill.
That's pretty fucking accurate.
I mean, if
Like,
we really
oh
want to
my
make
god, it's everywhere! They used it to spell their name on the walls!
I mean, we could go to my work and get an eval done.
Moving on!
Moving on.
You owe me a pickle for that one.
Fuck you, they're my pickles.
They are his pickles.
They are my pickles.
I'm aware that you're pickled. That's why I want one. Because you have a grocery bill, my friend. I keep it in my phone. Yeah, sorry. We digress. Moving on.
Okay.
But,
So once a Stormcaster has received his physical body or her physical body, they then go off to join a storm host and join a chamber of that storm host.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting. But that actually brings up a quick question. Does that mean that Stormcast bodies, do they look like the body they had when they died?
No,
or are
not
they,
necessarily.
Are they similar, completely different, or?
It's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah,
cool. Alright.
just fun fact, Stormcasts are actually not human race. They may resemble human and they may have humanity inside of them,
But they're not considered.
But there's not
Technically, they're
considered
closer
humans.
to demons.
because they lose a bit of their soul every single time they get reforged. And so since they don't have their full soul, I think that's what classifies them as not human.
Well, no, it's also the fact that they are literally grown from the essence
Of their god.
basically the essence of Azir and their god.
It's very
Yeah.
it's very demon-esque because that's basically how demons are made. They're grown from the essence of their particular deity.
Yeah.
You got something to say there, buddy?
The dichotomy of good and evil just continues to extrapolate because demons are demons.
Yep.
And
Stormcast are Stormcast.
Stormcast are Stormcast.
But Stormcast are demons.
But Stormcast are demons. Well, I mean, technically that makes them angels.
No, this is what it is. Listen, this is what it is.
So
All Stormcast are demons, but not all demons are Stormcast.
well, no, I get it. It's just
Bah,
it's just the dichotomy that a lot of just these types of games ensue. Because oh god. All right, I'm gonna go philosophical for a hot minute.
We're gonna
This
be
is
here
why we
for a
brought you
while.
here.
I know.
Please continue.
Because, I mean, if you look at, biblical, if you look at the similarities between demons and angels, it's very fucking similar. They're both eternal beings that are steeped in their upbringing after their respective upbringings after
One
they
are
died.
citizens and the other one are edgelords.
I mean, you're not wrong.
We have Reaper Mains
Defining
and we
those-
have Mercy Mains.
Well, I mean, defining those two was a little bit weird because, like the Seraphim or, like the Archangel Gabriel. How's it go? Oh, God, his head went that way. Or, like the angel that guards...
Take a breath.
I
You're sounding like Mitchell.
I know, I hate... sometimes I hate my upbringing, but anyway. The angel that guards the Garden of Eden is literally an invisible angel with a flaming fucking sword that just goes chop chop on anything that comes near it. Whether it be demon, mortal, or else. It's just fucking hilarious that just these games ensue that, and it's interesting to look at it and look at the why and also look at the how they do it and how they divert anyway.
So, what I'm gathering from this story is that all toads are frogs, but not all frogs are toads.
Yeah, you just got to make sure.
Is
you
that a
don't
motherfucking Outward Realms meme?
Bro, don't even fucking talk to me about fucking
I was about
toads,
to say
man.
until you fucking drop a branch on one.
Yeah. No, I had to listen to a fucking doctor, a doctorate
Biologist.
holder. Yeah, I had to
A
listen
doctor
to a fucking
holder. Yeah.
A
biologist.
doctor in the biology field.
Yes, there we go. Thank you.
PhD candidate, probably.
No, he's an
No,
actual
he is,
doctor.
Oh.
they have a doctorate because
Yeah.
that is required for their job.
Yeah.
Yes,
But no,
correct.
by the way, I switched jobs recently. I am now a sawyer. I run around in the in the woods fulfilling lumberjack fantasies.
He's a lumberjack and he works all day.
He got the beard and plaid to do it, too.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
he was at this job for like 3 days. This motherfucker walked into my house in jeans, boots, flannel, and suspenders. And I was like, what's up, Paul Bunyan? Like,
Should I get the flapjacks on the stove for you?
gonna get the griddle cakes for you there, boy.
Yes, I love my job. But no, anyway, but where I work, though, is I work in a federally controlled reserve or reservation for an endangered species of toad. And yeah, I had to have this doctor like stand there and tell me like, oh yeah, by the way, if
Not
you
tell you, talk at you.
Scream at you.
Yeah, no, talking at me was pretty accurate. About how, like, oh yeah, by the way, if you literally look at this frog wrong, that's a federal offense and you're going to federal prison. And I was like, ah.
So listen.
I can't wait till the salamanders are like
This
that,
is
too.
what'll happen.
Oh, God.
This is what'll happen. The biologist will fuck up on his job, not letting Philip know about a frog. Philip will then accidentally kill a toad. Philip will then accidentally kill the toad. But Philip will still go to prison for it, even though it's not his fault.
Getting back to the subject at hand.
Yes.
I apologize.
Continue
Anyway.
about our Sigmarines.
Sigmarines. But yeah, so that's basically what Stormcast Eternal are. Is they're, to a certain extent, they're almost like demons.
And they can be men and women.
Correct.
I don't think Sigmar sees gender when it comes to fighting off fucking demons.
Yeah, he's more interested in your soul, and your soul has no bearing on the skin bag that you wear.
Would you like to go into the side effects of reforging?
Yes, Mitchell, why don't you tell us all about the side effects of reforging? So, by the way, real quick, though, whenever a Stormcast Eternal dies, one of two things happen. If there's a Lord Arcanum standing nearby, the Lord Arcanum basically goes, nope, you ain't dead yet, and yeets them back into their body, and they get to go back fighting again. Or they die, in which case they go back to Azir to get reforged. And if they get reforged, one of these potential side effects may occur.
Or they get eaten by Archeon's horse and they're just fucked.
One of these, what seems to be 30 side effects.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
No. Mitchell, before you do this, tell me this. Can you rattle them off like you're on a really sketchy, like, new pharmaceutical drug company? Like, if you take this pill, you might be sort of...
I think that's more my department, and I'd have to read it a couple of times.
Known side effects for reforging is memory loss, identity loss, emotion loss, scars, obsession with traditions for natural mortal, and aimed at countering other losses of memory and personality, such as like getting tattoos. Thunder rumbling under their words when speaking, powerful destructive impulses, typically in the Black Hammers, unable to accept failure, striving to achieve the victory, ignoring its cost, typically in the Hammers of Sigmar. Celestial visions, blazes of crackling lightning around their head, typically of the Hammers of Sigmar. Celestial energy in their fist of when furious, typically in the Hammers of Sigmar. Nimbus like halo, typically in a hollowed knight. Lambent celestial light when the chinks of their armor, typically in the Hollow Knights. Radiant light from their body that purifies chaos, corruption. How is that a bad thing?
If you suffer an erection lasting for longer than 4 hours, please seek out your medical advice from your nearest knight and cantor.
Abandonment of every strategy, lost to the soul powered of rage and hate, typically in the Celestial Vindicators. Unable to speak above a whisper, typically in the Anvils of Heldenhammer. A corpse paleness, typically in the Anvils of Heldenhammer. Hair bleaching. Light twirling when they charge into battle, typically in the Knights of Aurora. How is that a problem?
No. These aren't problems. These are side effects.
Oh.
Side effects can be good or bad. It's just something that happens because of the, drugs. I mean, reforging.
Blue flames trailing when they charge into battle, typically in the Celestial Vindicators. Tangible aura of wrath, typically in the Celestial Vindicators. Smoking footprints, typically in a Knights Excelsior. Monochromatic view of the good and evil, typically in a Knights Excelsior. Intent perception, typically in a Knights Excelsior, not really confirmed. Wisps of amethyst energy around their body, typically in the Anvils of Heldenhammer. Tendency to collect items from the innocent dead to remember people who've been unjustly claimed by war. Please call your doctor if you suffer from one of these.
It's your nearest knight and cantor or lord.
Selson.
No. Fucking...
Lord Arcanum?
Yes, Arcanum. God damn.
Gosh. Yeah.
Why is my brain doing this?
10, 11, 12,
I'm not.
17, 18, 19,
I'm not.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 different side effects can be included.
No.
And potentially more.
Yes.
And or combined.
Oh god, that was a whole lot.
We're up to 44.
Yeah, I think the Lord Commander of the Hammers of Sigmar.
By the way, I'm so sorry if you did not understand a word that I said.
I mean, realistically, you don't have to. It's just there's a lot of fucking side effects.
Yeah.
What is this Bastion?
Would you like to?
Bastion Carthalos? I think he has like 2 or 3 of those.
Would you like to go over the sacrosanct chambers?
Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and explain like how they're organized and things like that, and then get into that.
Well, it's still a part of the reforging and forging process because they have a really big role before they got sent out because they were really a big part of they would guide the souls through the reforging process, and when they left, that's the reason why a lot more of these side effects are coming about.
They're the Karens of the Sigmarines.
Something like that. But yes, so
You give them a coin
I
to
mean,
take you across the river.
oh god,
that's literally the same thing. Whatever. Stealing my shit, Mitchell.
oh, Charon. I thought you said Karen, as in like
Charon.
the lady with the dyed hair and the.
No.
I heard
cut.
Karen, and I was like, maybe he's talking about the bird. I don't know.
No,
To be fair, I heard
God.
Karen as well, and I was in the kitchen.
Wait, are you stealing my food?
No, stealing mine. Are you using Mrs. Baird's or like, what bread are you using?
The bread I had in my hand.
Ha! That's your bread.
Okay.
Bread?
No.
Okay.
No, I said Charon, excuse me.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
the ferryman.
Yeah, the ferryman. From
Okay.
Greek mythology.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so like I was saying earlier, though, so the battle for the Burning Peninsula happens, and all of the Stormcasts come down all at once, and so begins the Age of Sigmar and the Realm Gate Wars. The Six Smiths become so overwhelmed by the sheer number of souls coming back in to Azir that they have to enlist the help of Stormcast in order to be able to keep up with the sheer number of souls that are flooding back to them.
Shit was whack, yo.
Something like that.
want this facility at max production.
Basically.
Yeah, so
like I
then
said,
the-
shit was whack.
So then the Sacrosanct Chambers are formed. And the Sacrosanct Chambers they're a group within each Stormhost, which is the largest organizational grouping of Stormcast. It's equivalent to a Space Marine chapter in 40k.
Sort of.
Yes. Yeah, more or
I
less.
had this rant, I think,
Yes.
last podcast.
You did, and I completely agree with you, Jacob. So, yeah. Anyway.
So the Sacrosanct Chamber is made up of is predominantly made up of Lord Arcanums and Knight Incantors. And what they did is they would help guide souls through the trials. And so while they were helping, you saw a significant decrease in the number of side effects due to reforging. And so they made the process safer, so to speak.
So would it be fair to say that, to a certain degree, the side effects that Stormcast were suffering from reforging sometimes isn't necessarily just because they've been reforged so many times, but it is literally just user error when it comes to the people forging?
I'd say it's less user error, and it has a lot more to do with... Remember how earlier you were saying, like, the soul can only live so long? Mm-hmm. It has more to do with that. The soul just grows old and weary, or maybe, like, the soul wasn't necessarily as strong as others to begin with.
From what it sounds like, it's literally about the solitude. Because without these guides going through the trials, you have a more frequency of occurring through that. Because if you went through generalizing, if you went through a really tough time in life and you were literally by yourself with no one else to rely on, you'd go a little fucking insane.
The one issue
But
with that...
with the guides, it decreases. It doesn't eliminate because hard times are hard times.
That's what made me question is when it said that when the Lord Arcanums and Knight Incantors started helping out, the side effects decrease. And so is it because it took the pressure off the 6 smiths and that was why, or is it something entirely different?
So I think it's a little of column A, a little of column B.
Okay.
It's because one thing you have to remember is that they are dying every single time. And having to suffer through death is a very traumatic experience. So that in and of itself can make the soul weary, can wear down on the soul. And that can cause an increase in likelihood of side effects. And then also, yes, the 6 smiths, there's only 6 of them. Like, they're basically demigods, but there's only 6 of them.
Like I said, there's a lot of death on the Eternals part during the Realm Gate War. Shit got whack.
Yeah. So if anything, it's more just... It's not necessarily that the Smiths are doing a bad job.
Which was what I was
It's more
implying.
just that
They have a lot on
the
them.
Knights and the Lords now have more hands to monitor each individual soul as it passes
That's
through
what it
the
is.
trial.
It's
Also-
better micromanaging.
But it's
Yeah.
also, I was reading this. Sigmar never perfected the reforging process. either.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes.
So
No,
it is still
it's-
an imperfect.
It's still an
system.
inherently
Because
flawed
he
system.
had to get this Stormcast Eternals as fast as possible, and he got it to the point where it was good enough, but it was never
reliable.
So that means that theoretically, if the system was ever perfected, we could just see an elimination of all negative traits from reforging because the forging system is itself perfect.
Yes.
Well,
theoretically.
It's like the
If Nagash quits his shit
And gets on and
Well,
hops
is
on
it-
board the
it's,
train.
it's like if the so many parallels, but it's like if the GNC eliminates all mutations, then they could just
Yeah, it's like the
Space Marine. Just,
But
It's like the introduction of Primitive
I would
somehow
just
perfect
like to
that
state
system.
that blood that purifies chaos corruption is an amazing side effect that should not go away.
Just some chaos cool is like blood for the blood god. Sigmarine, god damn it, slits her wrist, just drenches the motherfucker. You good now? I have a wife and 3 kids. Go on home, Jimmy. Go on home.
I'm going to refer you back to the Candleman from last podcast.
just like I can just imagine fucking Sigmarine with like nurse like with squirt guns attached to it, just like spraying down crazy cultist motherfuckers like, oh fuck, I have a job. Did I do my taxes this year?
Why are the salamanders not on fire? Well, they've converted to water guns and pistols.
I'm just gonna squeegee my way to victory over chaos. Oh my god.
All right.
Water hose them bitches. Hemophilia.
Yeah.
Craft.
So that's basically the short and skinny. Well, not quite so short, not quite so skinny of the forging and reforging process. And another important thing to note: all of the weapons and armor that the Stormcast Eternals use are forged from Sigmarite.
Yes.
Hey,
At-
it's another
at
thing
least
that
the armor.
Sigmar named after himself.
Yep,
Yep.
at least well, I know the whole thing about their equipment is super cool because they're thrice blessed.
Yep.
They're blessed by Sigmar's name pounded into it. B, the runes and shit that the smiths pound into the armor.
Carve into it, yep.
Yeah, and then C, sweaty. the sweat,
Sweat.
the sweat off of the brow of the basically the Schmeat water. And I've always found that concept to be really, really cool. But there is one thing that I've realized recently about Stormcast that I find actually kind of funny. They don't really use swords. It's hammers and spears, damn near. Almost exclusively hammers and spears.
Hammers, spears, and axes.
Yeah.
They use some
Maces.
swords,
I-
but,
maces.
Or morning stars.
but why
Mason.
would
You
you
don't
use
see
it?
a lot.
Why would you use a sword when you can have a spear
No,
sword?
and that's fine. You are correct, but I'm
mean
just
a
saying,
halberd?
like, you see so many.
Halberd is almost an axe. I'm talking about spear sword.
A
a
glaive.
glaive.
Yeah.
Yeah, glaive. But it's just like you see, like swords are so stereotypically fantasy. I just actually find it kind of cool that like the poster boy of one of the bigger fantasy game tabletops out there right
Hey.
now
This is Warhammer.
Wait! I'm getting the mallet. I just think it's cool that...
Nope. We said it. We said the tagline. Roll fucking credits. We're done. Lorecast Eternals
Okay,
is
so
no more.
so the
We're not
sexual
doing a
rant-
podcast anymore. See you never.
Oh wait, no, we're not doing credits.
I just find it really cool that they have a bunch of different weapon representation. It's not just I have my sword. You have it's predominantly hammers and spears, but you do have the morning stars and the axes. And I mean, let's just get this correct. I'm pretty sure Annihilators are the new big boys, right?
They're a
Devastators.
paladin. Yeah, they're
Yes.
the new
The
paladins.
huge ass motherfuckers that came out with Yandrasta.
Yeah.
I think we all agree that they beat motherfuckers to death with those shields.
Well, and for someone, the big part of my background is also D&D. If you look at just D&D in general, everybody uses a sword. Everybody
Just
uses a sword.
everybody.
Yeah, I mean, swords are fucking cool. But
I'm
for a
actually
reason,
like a proponent. I love spears more than swords.
I mean, you're
Shut
not
up,
wrong.
weirdo.
But I mean, if you want to get
I'm a fan
technical-
of my hammer.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get technical, I have a rapier, and I use French style. Yes, come after me, kill me. I don't give a shit. Good luck trying to get past my lead.
Man, this guy sure is a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But I mean, if you
What do you call them whenever they're a French weeaboo?
Oh yeah, boo.
Frogs!
I am so sorry.
Call them
I
frogs!
am so sorry.
Just replace. So keep boo. Replace we with baguette.
We
Baguette
begin.
Baguette taboo. And then it's
I'm
hon
sorry.
hon.
I got the
If
boo.
we have any French listeners, I am so
So
sorry. We are uncultured swine.
Anyway, it's most of the time when you think,
I can hear the revolutionary crowds crying for our heads at the
can
moment.
you hear
okay,
the
okay,
people sing,
I wanna-
singing the songs of angry men?
I want to have a quick sidebar just on revolution, when it comes to like rioting and whatnot.
French got that down.
French motherfuckers are real ones because like we have riots and we might occasionally like burn down a city, but you look at like the French, it's like, oh man, they raised the price of potatoes by 38. Honey, get the washing machine. I'm throwing this bitch out the window. Like they will throw fucking hands, and I mean hardcore, like fucking kill people over the smallest shit. And honestly, I respect it. Like you cannot do a goddamn thing, and they're just like,
Well, I mean, what's
listen.
God. I'm gonna say
Our
sorry.
revolutions are in the double digits. I'm not afraid to take that hoe into the triples.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna preface this by saying I'm sorry. But the French have won more revolutions than they've won wars for a reason.
Well, when you have so many more... Wow! No. It's simple mathematics. If you have 3 wars, but 97 revolutions, just by basic statistics, you're gonna win more of what you have more of. I'm just putting that out.
No.
I'm sorry.
If you're having a revolution within your own country, if it's 97, you're still winning 97 no matter what.
Oh my god! No, I've cracked the code. If I ever get a time machine, I'm gonna go back in time and all of like the wars that France is in, I'm just gonna be. It's not gonna be wars. Like it's not gonna be the 100 Years War. It's gonna be the 100-year revolution, and that's how they're gonna win because they won't be wars. They'll be revolution. What is it? The Napoleonic revolutions.
No,
The French and Indian revolution.
Your mother doesn't listen.
There's a reason why we won the American Revolution because the French were involved.
No. The 7-year revolution.
7-year revolution.
So, just to give you a little more
Your mother
context.
insane.
Oh yeah, no. Just give y'all a little context. Sean is currently having an aneurysm because my mother was his world history teacher back in high school,
She was mine too.
and apparently she listens to this podcast. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh, her
well,
opinion-
Julie told her about it. So,
No. So she got told about this.
Hi, Mom.
In the literal second that they were like, yeah, I told Philip's mom about this podcast. I'm like, anything good this woman thinks about me is about to go straight
Straight
down
out the window.
Because if I remember, I believe it was the second episode, I said something about those upstairs neighbors hate fucking aggressively. And now I have to live with the fact that his mother has to hear the word hate fucking come out of my mouth for the 3rd time now. So yeah, Thanksgiving on Saturday is going to be great.
oh yeah,
Completely
Belated,
What is this Saturday?
belated Thanksgiving this Saturday is gonna be fantastic because she's gonna look me in the eyes. I'm gonna look her in the eyes. I'm gonna go. She knows. She knows.
I completely lost track of what I was saying. Oh, Getting back to the point, whenever you think sword, the traditional sword and board, which traditional paladins.
Mitchell, are you
Stroke
are
boy
you gonna
2.0.
fucking? He's taking your job.
I know. I haven't stroked that much this episode.
He's siphoning off your energy.
Because you're like giving me... Y'all are going to send me into a relapse, and I'm going to have to go to the Bastrop ER, and I'm going to have to say, "Hi, Rachel, I'm back from my shift."
He's just sit there, his fucking spinal fluids, and be like, "He's weak, attacks the brain." There is a whole thing about this. There's no context to what the fuck we're talking about, nor are we going to give any. Just know that's not even an inside joke between Sean and us. That's just something Sean deals with occasionally.
We do need to get back on track, though.
Yeah. Well, whenever you think of sword, whenever you think sword, you think sword and board. So paladin immediately, because that's the poster boy of D&D. Kinda, sort of.
Sword and shield.
It's gotten more
that's the peanut butter and jelly.
Fuck! Can I fucking talk? I talked perfectly fine while I was working. Maybe that's it.
Yeah,
What
get
you've
fucked.
done- What you've done to my boy.
I know. I'm a peanut butter honey type of guy. That's why I like this beer.
But I mean,
Hey man,
whenever-
halberds are pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, but when you see them, you just see them so commonly because I mean, fucking knights back in the day, Renaissance festivals, and
We're talking
so on
about
and so
swords again,
forth.
not halberds.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Specifics.
I was talking out of my ass.
Yeah, all of us are, if you want to get technical. But it's really interesting that this particular doesn't have it because they're just so
They have
used
it.
so widely. But I mean, it's not
It's just not the focus.
prevalent.
Yeah, if I'm being
As
honest,
prevalent.
swords aren't super prevalent in fantasy as a whole. Like I know, I think Chaos uses them almost.
Excuse me?
You
Sword.
mean Age of Sigmar?
Age of Sigmar. Sorry.
Okay, because I was about to say it's like
I don't know what I said.
like Excalibur.
I had a brain fart. I had a brain fart.
I'm sitting here
I
like-
meant Age of Sigmar. I
But
apologize.
dude, D&D is a thing.
Shut up! I'm sorry. I meant Age of
There's
Sigmar.
literally a
I get it!
subclass for Hexblade Warlock.
In Age of Sigmar, swords aren't super prevalent in general. I think Chaos uses them the most. I know Seraphon uses them a little bit.
Chaos uses anything that goes point,
But I mean,
point,
like,
sharp,
and you
can
Archeon has
stick
like
through
the Slayer
somebody.
of Kings, and that's
My
like the most
army in the
potent.
corner uses bark.
Yeah, he uses brand like the fucking Sylvaneth. They use tree. Fucking what's your orc army?
Hey, a club is just
Called.
as effective.
Cruel boys.
Cruel boys. They use the power of venereal diseases.
Cruel lads don't have swords. They have stabbers.
Fucking like the dwarves, they use axes and hammers. The Stormcast Eternals, they use basically everything but swords. The elves use spears almost exclusively. The Daughters of Cain, if you're smart, use bows or crossbows.
If not, you use daggers.
Exactly. Like
The cat scream.
you have the Great Blade on the Seraphon. Which it's kind of like a weird sword axe or pickaxe sword kind of like a sword, but it has bone, you know. And you have like Archeon has sword and a bunch of the Chaos of swords, but like beyond that, you don't see a whole lot of swords in the game. And I actually find that to be really, really cool because it's the most represented weapon in all of fantasy, and it's hardly in one of the bigger fantasy games.
I mean, and even if you look in, now that Mitchell's gone, I can diverge. Even if you look in, like Warhammer 40K. Yes, they have, like chain weapons.
Oh no,
and stuff.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Swords are fucking everywhere in 40k.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, you have, like the special weapons, quote unquote. But, I mean, for like for the Space Marines, there's really only one major chapter that really uses it heavily. And that's the Black Templars.
Oh yeah, melee boys themselves.
Space Wolves use lots of swords too.
But they're mostly axes as well.
No. Space Wolves actually are one of the few chapters that still have that cool, specially double-edged chain sword they still use. They don't use a single blade anymore.
Well, I'm not talking about chain weaponry. Because that's...
But that is a sword.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about chain weaponry because if we include that, then we have to go into Star Wars fantasy.
But
anyway.
I get the point you're saying, but
Yeah.
me personally, I have to disagree because one of the most prevalent weapons you'll see, especially with the Primaris these days, is if they have a fucking melee weapon, it's almost always a power sword
Yeah.
Or a chainsaw.
Okay,
or a chain sword.
Anyway.
Getting back to the point.
Yeah,
It's
well,
called,
yes,
it's called
yes.
Warhammer.
Warhammer.
not Sword.
We're talking about mallets.
All right, going back though. Okay, what fucking part of Stormcast Eternals were we even fucking
We
on?
were talking about their equipment. About
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what
okay,
they use
yes,
in their armor and
yes. All of you shut the fuck up for like 30 seconds. Okay. Quit fucking counting, you little shit!
I was trying to have a sexual moment with Mitchell, and you're screaming, "Fuck it
Oh,
out!"
he thought it was sexual. I was just catting him. I was like, get your foot out of here.
Always sexual to me. We know what happened at Schlitterbahn.
Anyway.
Continue, because we should probably cover weapons, then their organization.
We've basically covered weapons, what they use in the
Yeah,
the
basically
Celestial
all of
Iron.
their weapons and armor are forged from Sigmarite, and they can channel the divinity.
and
of
they're
Sigmar
dunked in
power
and they're dunked in fucking Schmeat water. Continuing on.
Yes.
Would you like to go into the organization of how these Stormcast host or like
Oh God!
these Storm hosts?
Do
are
we
actually...
just
Yes.
want to clip in my rant
No.
from the last episode?
No. So the storm hosts are broken up into various different organizational levels. So there's the command echelon, which is like the Lord Commander and his retinue, so to speak. And then there's temples, which
Papa.
exactly. And then there are various different temples.
Look at it.
And then there
Out
are
of context, that's horrible.
kind of. But
Sometimes not having
With no
visuals
visual.
really works in my favor.
God damn it. But no, and then there's
Touched your stomach.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's call it that.
could you two stop
I'm
making
taking you down with me, motherfucker.
could you two stop making sex jokes for 5 fucking
For 5
minutes?
minutes.
Quit fucking timing me, Sean! I swear to God! Sean, I will be under your bed tonight. I know you have a gun, you little shit. I'm still gonna be under your bed tonight. I know you're into that shit. Don't even fucking lie.
Yeah, you're gonna be the one chained up.
Oh God, there's so much we're gonna have to edit with the sound. Oh my God.
I think being here is a bad idea.
So what's the count at?
53. Give or take a few.
Okay, so, like we were saying, there's a command echelon, and then there are various different temples, including like a Relictor Temple, a Valedictor Temple, Heralder Temple, it goes on.
And these are all the places that the different Stormcast are from.
No, this is the organization of a storm host.
Of a singular Stormcast.
yes.
Are you going to get into, because are every single one of those, do they have their own conclaves?
No, these are the temples singularly.
So that
this
means
is
that-
gonna be like this is gonna represent like those lords and knights that like are kind of randomly situated throughout.
Okay,
like
where do the conclaves come into the...
Well, hold on. Everything you just rattled off, that's for a singular storm host, right?
Yes.
So if it's one of those storm hosts that only has like 46 guys in it, how are they gonna fit 4 fucking temples into there? Or
Okay,
what that-
so like because you can have 46 guys, so you may have 46 guys, but you still can have like one Lord Relictor who's going to be in charge of a Relictor temple.
So it can just be super low population, but they're still there.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's.
I want you to
It's
imagine
just like
a craft world, but it's all almost dead. Somebody gets to be in charge of something.
Well, I mean, it's like if you have one security guard guarding this facility, and that's the only security guard working it, he's the fucking supervisor.
yeah, he's the head of
Doesn't
security.
matter what it is. He's the head of security because that's the
No,
only security
that's
guard
fair.
there.
I just you were saying all these temples, and I'm like, God damn, some of these stormhosts are really fucking small. But it's like, they have all of these things. But no, that does make sense.
Yeah.
It's like whenever I was the only.
There ain't
one-
gotta be a lot, but they're
Well,
there.
it's like whenever I used to work at GameStop and I was the only key holder there. It's like, oh, I want to speak to your manager.
Well,
Turn
man,
around, one
today
complete
that's
360.
me.
Hi, I'm the manager. How can I help you? You're a dick. Yes, I am. You have a lovely day.
Today that's me, man, and you can probably go fuck yourself. All right,
No,
continue.
I didn't actually say that to somebody.
Continue.
It would have been funnier if you had just left it at that and then let people think that you had.
Look, as much as I love to paint the picture that I'm an absolute fucking
Oh, he's a
douchebag,
cinnamon roll.
I am at heart a cinnamon roll, and
Rub
I
the
am.
meat, rub the magic.
Mitchell,
No.
I'm going to remind you that this man is in fact bisexual and you are well within his ballpark.
But I have no comment on that last. But
Hilarious. Just
no, yeah.
Okay.
I want people to fucking just, be happy. Doesn't mean if you want to be happy and you infringe on my fucking shit, I'm gonna put a bolt through your head. But regardless.
How did we get here?
At least I'm not telling the bridge stories.
Oh god, please stop.
We here at Lorecast Eternals do not condone suicide.
Don't kill yourself.
And that is the end of this
Moving
conversation.
on.
Mitchell!
Okay, getting into conclaves and chambers though. So, every storm host has, like we were talking about, the command echelon, the temples, and then they have chambers. So each chamber is going to have a command echelon in and of itself that's going to be composed of like Lord Celestants and things like that. Because a Lord Celestant is the leader of a chamber.
And that's what Vandus is, right? Vandus Hammerhand?
Yes, he is the leader of a chamber. He is a Lord Celestant. And then, so there's going to be one Lord Celestant, and there's going to be a couple other lords to back him up, and then a bunch of knights to kind of manage or manage more micro things. And then depending on...
I don't mean to cut you off again, but I just want to make sure that this picture is as clear as possible. So that means that, once again, if it was a storm host that was very low population, you could have a chamber that's led by a Lord Celestant, but he could only have, 5 knights, theoretically.
Can we put this in U.S. military terms so people can actually understand? So let's say a storm host is your 1st or 4th army.
Okay.
No. So
Or
from what it sounds is a storm host is a battalion.
Yeah.
And a battalion is broken up into
Platoon?
No. Yes. Platoons. If we're going army, it'd be platoons. If it'd be Air Force, it'd be wings.
Nobody cares about the Air Force.
Fuck off. That's where most of my shit is.
I know, that's
anyway.
why my dad is a Air Force.
Anyway. And then it'd be platoons. And then from there, it would be...
Squads.
No, it'd be... No, I'm sorry. It'd be companies and then platoons and then squads.
I thought it was... No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Because his battalion...
So
then here's my question. So, throwing away the fact that, at least in the American military, there's supposed to be a certain amount of numbers in these type of things. Let's just say that the entire battalion is 30 guys.
Yeah.
That means that because you have a little population, your company would have to be 15. Your platoon would be 10.
Hey, maybe the
But
U.S.
that's the
military
problem,
is
because some
not
of
the
these-
best thing to compare it to.
But that's what I'm saying. Is that's
No,
the
it
problem.
actually is.
No, because
because
Space Marine chapters are probably the easiest.
No.
Because-
Hold on, guys. Hold on. The master has his hand up.
Okay. One thing I will say is that if you have low population, you can still populate all of these roles, but not all of these roles have to be populated.
Okay, that was my question.
Yes.
because
Because you can have a storm host
'Cause that-
that's 20 fucking guys, but it's a Lord Commander, a Lord Celestant, one fucking knight, or 3 fucking knights, and then just 15 fucking paladins, and all you have is a warrior chamber, and that's fucking...
And that was my question, because it sounded like if there was a low population storm host, it was just going to be a whole lot of chiefs and not a lot of Indians. That's the best analogy that I have in my thing right now.
okay,
but the fact that they can dumb it down to just 1, 15, that makes sense.
I gotta... Could you break that up into Space Marine chapter? Because let's say you have the chapters of Storm Host, and then you have your chapter leaders, which are going to be your
Captains.
your captains, or your chapter master, the cat hair.
or something. No, it's one of your hairs that just tried to be part of your mustache.
Oh, neato. So you have a chapter master, you have chaplains, and all your other leaders. But then who are those people compared to that?
So, relatively speaking, so if we're comparing this to a chapter, you're going to have your chapter master, which is equivalent to a Lord Commander. You're then going to have your non-battle line or non-company formations. So, for instance, your reliquary and all of your chaplains for a Space Marine chapter are going to be equivalent to your temples. So, like, a relic or temple is going to be equivalent to a reliquary.
Okay.
And things like that.
So
your chambers are going to be more equivalent to your companies. The issue here, the issue where the comparison kind of falls apart, is that chambers in a Stormhost are specialized. Whereas companies in a chapter are designed to be a self-sufficient army.
Where do conclaves fit into this?
Conclaves are subsets within chambers, and they can have mixtures inside of different chambers.
So does that mean that, like, let's say you have problem A, right? So you send a storm host to go deal with problem A, and when the storm host gets to problem A, that means, okay, cool. Chamber 3 is most suited to deal with problem A, so they just send Chamber 3 because they're the ones who are specialized to deal with this particular problem.
So let's say that your problem is a bunch of Skelly Boys, for instance. Skelly Boys, you don't need a lot of magic and a lot of shit like that. You need guys with big-ass hammers. So you're going to send your warrior chamber, because you don't need magic.
Oh.
You don't need fucking Star Drakes riding in and dragons riding in and bleeding holy fire. You just need boys with mallets who can hit hard.
But inside that chamber, are there individual conclaves?
So, okay,
hold up.
Jacob ask the question or finish the thought.
Okay, yeah.
I have something to compare it to for you. Actually.
I think the comparison here is where, for a Space Marine chapter, a company is supposed to be able to act as a self-sufficient army.
Yep.
When it comes to storm hosts, it's the storm host as a whole that is supposed to act as a self-sustaining army, because you have the specific chambers that are meant to deal with specific problems. So when you have a storm host somewhere, regardless of the population of the storm host, they have something to deal with almost any type of threat they would face, as long as it isn't some gigantic fucking overwhelming army that would take more than one storm host.
Correct.
Cool. It clicks now. I'm good.
Okay. To answer your question, it sounds what conclaves are is what Horus started with the Space Marine chapters before the Horus Heresy started. The
Warrior Lodges?
Yes, Warrior Lodges.
Because what conclaves remind me more of, because they each specialize in one thing, so they remind me more of companies. Because let's say
let me read what each individual chamber does, and then let me read to you what the actual conclaves are, and that might help clarify.
Okay.
So you're going to have so technically there are 6 different chambers with 3 still sealed. So that's kind of a big thing in the Stormhosts, is that we have 9 chambers listed, only 3 are, quote, unsealed. And, for instance, the Extremis chamber was only unsealed after Dracothion pledged his children to the Stormhosts. And that's where we get all the new dragons.
Oh, this just sounds like Sigmar's playing Zeech games.
Yeah, a little bit. And then,
I mean, to be fair, when you're the master, you emulate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So chambers are they like actual buildings?
No, chambers are an organizational group. So a chamber, for instance, a warrior chamber is going to have its own command echelon, like we were just talking about. And then it's going to be made up of 3 Angelos Conclave retinues, 6 Paladin Conclave retinues, 9 Redeemer Conclave retinues, and 3 Justicar Conclave retinues. So, or squads. Read squads here.
Okay, so conclaves are kind of like squads.
Yes, there's what a conclave is it's really more defining the role of a squad. So it's a conclave. Realistically, what it is a conclave is more comparison to the squad designations of a Space Marine. And so, like a heavy support or things like that.
And I think another big problem here is whenever we think of it, especially when we're trying to compare it to like a Space Marine chapter, is I think by and large Space Marine chapters are just a lot bigger.
Yeah.
No,
No?
Other way around. Storm hosts can be fucking massive.
But there's also a lot of storm hosts that are fucking minuscule.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to be clear, there are 6 different conclaves. There are it's the Angelos conclave, the core...
Angelos, Paladin, Redeemer, Justicar, Corpuscant, and Ordinatus.
Yep.
And I'll go ahead and read what all of those are.
And here's something that I find interesting. So when you have you have the Hammers of Sigmar,
Yep.
which are a whole fucking storm host.
Yep.
And then you have the
Hollowed Knights.
Hollowed Knights. So those are different storm hosts, yeah?
Yeah.
So are they just different storm hosts in name only, or are they just whole
No.
different aesthetics?
They can be very different aesthetics, and that is
So
represented on tabletop as well.
it's the same like command echelon and structural breakdown, but they can have different shticks.
Yeah,
Yes.
storm hosts have their own culture because they can come from a different region
Okay,
in their own world.
no
So,
matter
like,
what if their shtick is, everyone here rides dragons. Even if that is the case, they're still going to have their chambers, their conclaves,
Yes.
and all that shit.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just that they're going to have an emphasis on something.
Yeah, but
For instance, the Hammers of Sigmar have a big emphasis on Draculan infantry.
while Hollow Knights are really big on Redeemer conclaves.
Which, making the connection to the tabletop, is why you can, depending on which storm host you
Battle
run,
line.
you can
Your
run
battle line changes.
Your battle line changes.
Yes. So, for instance, the Knight Exemplars. The Knight Exemplars go heavy into their Paladin conclaves, which is why Paladin units on tabletop can be run as battle line if you are running a Knight's Exemplar army.
So they still have the other things. So basically, like every storm host has the blank template for you must bullet in all of these points, but you can like one bullet more than another bullet.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just like the U.S. military.
But yeah,
Every branch has everything that the other has. However, the Air Force is going to have more fucking air vehicles. Marines are going to have more amphibious vehicles. Army's going to have more fucking artillery. And the Navy's going to have more fucking boats.
Marines have more people who eat
Ships.
crayons.
Coast Guard
Ships.
is Coast Guard.
Ships. Excuse me. Ships.
Coast Guard is Coast Guard.
Sean, I don't think Sean heard me insult the Marines, and now I feel bad.
I heard the crayons. I do not deny anything.
all right. So,
one tastes like red.
all right. So we're kind of getting looped around here.
Well,
But I'm going to go ahead.
To be fair, the structure is a little complicated.
It is. But let me go ahead and read off what exactly all the different chambers are. So we have the Sacrosanct Chamber. The Sacrosanct Chamber is all about magic and working with magic and things like that. These are going to be where your Lord Arcanums are, your Lord Exorcists, your this is more like a librarian.
Well, librarian, excuse me, yes.
Your Knight Incantors and your Knight Arcanums. Like, this is where they're going to be. And a Sacrosanct Chamber usually has Corpuscant, Redeemer, Justicar, and Ordinatus conclaves in them. Exemplar Chamber. Basically going to be made of, like, these are going to be kind of your heavy hitters. They're going to have Angelos, Paladin, and Justicar conclaves. Warrior Chamber. These guys, they're going to run into the heat of battle and just beat face. So whereas the Exemplars are designed to, like, these are your spear tip, your Warrior is going to be your battle line. These are the guys who are going to stand there and they're going to fight all fucking day long in the slog.
They don't have any specialty but murder what's in front of you.
Yeah, basically. And they do a little bit of everything. They have Angelos, they have Paladin, they have Redeemer, and they have Justicar conclaves. Harbinger Chamber. Again, they have a command echelon, they have lords, they have knights. I forget exactly what the Harbingers do. I think they're a little more mobile. But then the Extremist Chamber, dragons. Just fucking dragons. Like, holy shit, dragons. And then
Dracovion be all up in that bitch.
And then the Vanguard Auxiliary Chamber is just Angelos. Angelos fucking everywhere.
So that means that every storm host has an extremist chamber? So that means technically every
Theoretically,
that means
yes.
technically every storm host should have the capacity to use Dracoliths, Star Drakes, and Draconids.
So yes and no, because lore-wise, Dracolins, Star Drakes, things like that, they choose their master. So if you're a small storm host and none of your lords or things like that have proven themselves to one of the children of Dracothion,
So that
You're
means
just not gonna have
that
an
means
extremis
you
chamber.
could have an extremis chamber. It's just fucking empty.
yes.
Okay. Well, I that more or less breaks down the structure, right?
And then I'm going to go over what each individual conclave is.
I feel like after this, we should. I know there's going to be a lot of them. To do a brief breakdown of the different types of units, like what the sequitors are, what the
yeah. Okay.
It's like having a parking space for a car you don't have.
Exactly.
So I'm just now looking at this thing,
The picture?
the picture, and
Yeah.
it's like every
This
single
one?
chamber, every single
Yeah.
chamber has an a set of enclaves inside of it.
Yeah.
So
So conclaves. Angelo's conclaves. These are going to be your fast boys. These are going to be like your cavalry boys or your boys that fly around. They're fast movers. They get place fast. They don't necessarily hit hard, but they get there, and they are there, and they fucking move like the wind.
They're good to go up, grab an objective, and fuck off.
Yep, exactly.
Scouts.
Yes. A little heavier hitting because they are Stormcast, but yes, they're
Light
effectively
infantry.
scouts.
Light infantry.
Actually, that's kind of the funny thing. For the most part, they're cavalry. But these are going to be like your shock cavalry. They get in, they get the things done, they get the fuck
You're
out.
right. I should have said shock.
are these
troops.
your Chocobo riders?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Your Chocobo Rider. Oh my god, you have Chocobo Riders?
There's a thing called a...
Griffhound? Griff?
no,
Griff?
not a Griffhound. A charge griff.
Yeah.
Oh,
a griff charger.
They ride the bird dogs. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes. Big.
Big bird dogs.
Think Griffin without the wings.
Yeah. Chocobo. Angry Chocobos.
Yes.
Oh, very angry chocobos.
Hold on, I gotta do some delving into D&D because there is a literal.
Sean
bird
is going
dog.
to be temporarily exiting the podcast to do internet things.
Anyway, Angelos, they move fast. They move fucking fast. Paladins, these boys be chunky.
Chunky thick.
Chunky thick.
Bowl of oatmeal.
But holy fuck, do they hit like a goddamn hammer.
Are we talking like southern oatmeal?
Yes.
And grits?
Yes.
Syrupy grits?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
No, like, your paladins, these are going to be your guys that you're like, hey, I need 3 guys to go hold this line against a literal fucking horde of enemies, and your paladins are like, you mean a Tuesday for us?
Yeah, so you have the joke of like, haha, look how big and fat, they'll never get there. But then you fuck off, and then they get there, and you're like, oh god, I have become air, and then they disintegrate you with their hammers.
Yeah, basically. Paladins are also going to be the ones that wield the Star Soul maces.
The dumbass maces.
Yeah.
I don't
Star Soul-
hit, I don't wound, I simply do mortals.
Yeah. Star Soul maces literally cause your soul to vibrate or to fall out of alignment with your body, and your soul just gets yoked off into the warp.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, basically.
I love that.
I feel like paladins embody the, we're probably not going to catch you, but you better fucking hope we don't.
Yeah, and then there's Redeemers.
Simurg. Sorry.
Found what you were looking for?
Yes.
What are they?
Okay,
Well,
cool.
I remember. They're Simurg in D&D. They're
called Simmer?
Simurgs.
Simmers.
Simurgs.
And they're wingless
and-
griffins, basically.
No. These are basically, think of a griffin, but with a dog head that you can ride.
Neat. Go on.
Anyway, Redeemers. These are going to be your mainline hitters. These are going to be your liberators, your vindictors, your sequitors.
Battle
These-
line.
Your
these are battle
normal
line.
battle line.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are the guys that are going to be the most common on the battlefield that you see just in the slog trying to get through shit.
Gotcha.
Your
They're
Justicars.
as much fodder as Stormcast can have fodder.
Yes. Your Justicars are going to be, hey, we have bow. These are going to be your marksmen. These are going to be your reigning hellfire down.
the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
fight in the shade.
But yeah, no. So your Justicars
You
are going to
happy
be your
with yourself
range
for that one?
Yes.
Your range support.
You good there, bud?
Yeah, no, sorry. I
It's
just
that entire
burped.
jar of pickle juice you drink. I bet your ass reflex gonna fucking love you in an hour.
Hey. But no, then you have the Corpuscant conclaves.
Corpuscant?
Corpuscant. Cant.
Corpus
Conclaves.
Corpus Cant.
And the way that they're listed, what their actual written thing is Corpuscant conclaves are composed of those who can channel lightning through their bodies at will, usually magical adepts with great martial skills.
Tempest clerics.
Oh, so
got
Sith. Force lightning and lightsabers.
Tempest clerics.
Yeah,
got
so
you.
these guys are basically, they're not exactly magic casters,
But they do lightning.
yeah. So these are going to be like your what's the D&D like the fighters who can do use magic.
Barbarian
Eldritch Knights.
Yeah, your Eldritch Knights.
Honestly, they sound more like Tempest clerics.
I don't know what that is.
Basically, the natural ability of a Tempest cleric is I'm gonna hit you, and then on my bonus action, I'm gonna
Honestly, no,
strike you
I
with
would say
lightning.
they kind of sound more like the barbarians that do the Rage of the Storms.
Oh,
because
Storm
they,
Heralds.
because they don't do magic, but they can channel fucking
Storm
lightning.
Heralds.
Yeah, they
Yes.
sound like Storm
Oh.
Heralds.
They
I
do
love
because
Storm
the
Heralds.
actual unit that's attached to this, the tabletop unit, is the evocators, and they have some pseudo magic abilities. So it's more like using magic to augment yourself.
But they're just good fighters and they shoot lightning.
yes.
Okay.
And then there is the Ordinatus Conclave.
That's a 40k term. Ordinatus.
sort of, kind of. The Ordinatus Conclaves, those are going to be your artillery.
Let's get it straight. It's a GW term.
There you go.
Yeah, really.
What constitutes artillery for Stormcast?
Solastar Ballista, I think is what they're called.
Big ass bows.
Big ass bows.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then also, technically, they have a Lord Ordinatus.
I would fucking love, and I honestly hop on this shit GW, if an artillery piece for Stormcast was just some sort of giant lightning rod, and its artillery ability was basically that unit's getting struck by lightning. And not like the Lord Selestat sacrificed himself to make lightning strike the gate. I mean this thing, it make lightning hit, and that's just what it shoots. It's just lightning, and it would just do straight mortal wounds.
Yeah, there's just one issue with that. Skaven already do that.
Oh, but not warp lightning, Sigmar lightning. There's a difference. What's the count up to now?
59, give or take.
Oh my god.
Sig lightning. Signing.
But moving on, though, there are... So now that we've kind of explored the composition of Storm Hosts, you have the Command Echelon, you have Temples, you have Chambers. Chambers are composed of conclaves, so on and so forth. Let's get into some big, well-known Storm Hosts.
Do we want to cut it here for general and then go into specifics next, or are we just gonna...
And then we're just going to travel through.
Okay,
Yeah, we're just going to travel through.
I'm just wondering because we sit in that long time. Cause
Oh, bro.
mostly
Average episode is an hour 45.
I know.
Okay.
But this is gonna be a little bit.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I
to be
literally,
fair, we
I literally
can-
just have my codex sitting,
Well, no,
or my
wait,
battle
This
tomes
is
sitting here.
literally the reason why we said our first 10 episodes were just basic.
Well,
No,
to,
I know,
well,
I know.
to be fair, the only reason we're gonna be able to speed through the rest of this, I believe, because just that last one was just pretty fucking complicated because the way Stormhosts are set up is kind of vague.
And just to get a final nail in the coffin, you have chambers. Chambers are specialized within a to handle big threats. So sacrosanct chambers are going to be better against magical threats. Warrior chambers are just good at beating faced. Exemplar chambers, Dargans, just Dargans. But each chamber can have different conclaves. The only one that's really hard and fast into you can only have this one conclave is going to be the Vanguard Auxiliary, which is almost completely and entirely comprised of exclusively the Angelos conclaves.
Vanguard makes sense.
Yes, exactly. They go out, they explore, they collect information.
So when we go into the Storm Hosts, there are what we are going to be called strikings.
Yes. So if
and-
you're familiar with the chapters and how there are foundings in the chapters of 40k Space Marines,
There are strikings as the equivalent. So you got your first.
strikings is the equivalent.
You got your first striking. You got your second striking. So the first striking were all
Realm
the
Gate
original
War.
ones.
In the Realm Gate Wars,
Those are
right?
the Realm Gate War
yeah.
ones. Then
So
you have your
if
second
you're
strikings.
around for the Realm Gate Wars, you're probably a first striking.
Second strike are probably what, Soul Wars?
more or less.
Probably, and then you have your unknown striking. It's like
It just happened for reasons.
yeah.
Well,
Or basically, like you were forged like kind of in between a striking, and like you're kind of just in the middle there, but you were needed.
You were probably sent in as reinforcements because they needed more bodies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the best, the brightest, the poster boys. Hammers of Sigmar.
Dun, da, da, da.
First
that's
striking,
Vandus, right? That's Vandus?
That's Vandus. First striking, very first Storm host.
Oh, they are the first Storm host?
They are the first. Hammers of Sigmar. The golden ones. First to the fray, Sigmar's champions. These guys are his literal golden children. They are the apple of his eye. These guys, when they call for aid from Sigmar, Sigmar fucking answers.
Do you want to go through these quickly? Because there's a whole lot of these.
Well, I'm just going to go through the big prominent
Can
ones.
I take
in
a
the
guess
Battletome.
as to what the second one is?
Go ahead.
Is it Hollowed Knights?
No.
It is the Hollow Knights.
Fuck yeah!
Actually, no. They're the fourth ever Storm host ever made.
Oh, that's what you meant.
No, I mean second most important.
Oh, second most important, yes, but
Hollow
they
Knights.
are the
They
fourth.
get a named character.
Hey-o.
But they were the fourth
Fourth
Storm host created.
But they were part of the first striking, though, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so the first striking is going to basically be anything that was forged
In the Realm Gate Wars, or
no,
the 500,
leading up,
the 500
in the
years.
500 years leading up to the Realm Gate
Gotcha.
Wars.
Okay.
But yes, so then we have real quick, Hammers of Sigmar,
Nice.
Apple of his eye.
Oh God, thank you.
God damn.
When you see the golden Stormcast Eternal, that's the Hammer Sigmar. They are
Yes.
the golden ones.
The golden ones with the blue pauldrons, that's
Yeah.
them.
Gotcha.
Hallowed Knights, the faithful, the silver saviors, the soul guardians. These guys are a little bit more focused on like the people and like trying to protect the people and doing things for the people.
This is the Storm host that I'm gonna do when I get my.
They're
Stormcast.
missing a name. The Thick Thigh Chasers.
Thick Thigh Chasers. Hell yeah, brother!
Yo, I'm talking about
Yeah.
You could have did the turkey.
I was gonna.
There we go. All right.
All right.
Yeah, and the Hollow Knights, if you remember from the last couple episodes, they are the ones that went into the realm of life and they basically saved L'Oreal from getting wrecked by Nurgle.
So then we're just going to kind of speed through the rest of these prominent ones. The Celestial Vindicators, Anvils of the Heldenhammer, Knights Excelsior, Celestial Warbringers, Tempest Lords, Astral Templars, and then, so those are the big prominent ones.
Tempest Lords are actually part of the second striking.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which one is it that found Sigmar's mallet?
The
hammers?
I think that's the.
That was the hammers because I remember Vandus crump Fate Weaver with the hammer. So
But who found it?
The
I think,
initial finding, I
was
think,
this-
was the Hallowed Knights.
no, I thought there was the Celestial Vindicators.
No, it was Celestial Vindicators. I'm almost positive.
Okay.
I'm almost positive it was Celestial Vindicators.
Yeah. I think you're right. Let's see if it
I
says it real
mean,
quick.
just look back on
Basically, no.
podcasts.
Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
Moving on, yes. All right. And then just to name a few other minor ones, Sons of Malice, Celestial Knights, Lightning Hawks.
I like how they look. The lines of Sigmar.
Yeah, Lions of Sigmar.
They purple and gold and white. My colors.
Fists of Sigmarite, the Gearan Guard.
Those motherfuckers are green.
Yeah, the Sons of Gladius.
You think those would be the Garen Guard?
By the way, Sons of Gladius are first strike.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're fucking green.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I have the names here if you want me to go through the first strike, second strike, and unknown strike.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go through the first two at least.
So the first striking are going to be the Angels Etheric, Anvils of Heldenhammer, the Astral Templars, the Azerite Arbiters,
Arbiters.
Blades of Dawn, Celestial Vindicators, Hollowed Knights, Hammers of Sigmar, Helden Sons, Lions of Sigmar, Sigmarite Brotherhood, Sons of Gladius,
Gladius.
and Stormblood Guard. Those are the things. Those are all the Storm hosts that participated in the Realm Gate Wars.
And now
original.
Now the second striking, which we're all pretty sure would be the Soul Wars, are the Celestial Knights, Celestial Warbringers, Fist of Sigmarite, Gearan Guard, Knights Excelsior, Knights of Azir, Knights of Aurora, Aurora, Lightning Hawks, Maelstrom of Light, Radiant Sons of Sigmar, Sons of Malice, Sons of the Storm, Tempest Lords, the Bloody Dawn, the Crimson Seraphs, and the Silent Host. And those are all the second striking Stormcast Eternal Storm hosts, and those ones we're pretty sure once again were the ones that fought during the Soul Wars. As far as the unknown striking goes, Mitchell, do you want to go again, or do you want me to save the stroke?
I'm going to attempt the stroke here.
Okay, go for it.
As your guard, Barony of Thunder.
Barony of Thunder.
Okay, cool beans. Black Draconus, Black Hammer, Blooded Dawn.
Black Dracothians.
Black Dracothians?
Honestly, really, that one I gave him because they're kind of the same thing.
No.
Yeah, dyslexia.
It's alright.
Celestial Lions.
Corellian Comets.
Cerulean Comets.
Cerulean? This man, we gotta hire this man to pronounce words. Guardians of the Firmament.
Firmament is correct.
Hammers of Retribution. Heralds of
Casadora.
Yeah, Casadora. Knights Aurora.
Uh-huh.
Did we already count?
Yeah, no.
No, we got the Knights of the Aurora.
Knights of the Aurora, and then just they took out the of the.
Knights Indomitable. Knights Merciless. Sunbolts. The true sons of Sigmar.
Oh, that's a flex right there. They're the true sons of Sigmar.
So those are all the unknown strikings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just to name a couple characters who exist outside of Storm hosts, we have Yndrasta, the Celestial Spear, and the Celestant Prime. Both of these characters technically operate outside of the Storm host hierarchy.
What's actually cool, a little bit of lore for the Celestant Prime, is because he's basically like a walking, talking Storm host. That's how powerful he is. Whenever he gets hot dropped into a fight, whatever Storm host he's fighting with, his armor will naturally adopt the colors and bannerry of that particular Storm host.
That's pretty cool.
I find that super fucking cool.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being the
Closeby!
basically, I forget the name, but those green motherfuckers we just saw that are salamander green, their entire army, having the Celestant Prime be like, hold up. I'm green now! That's what fucking happens.
But yeah. So
Is that everything about Stormcast?
That's basically it.
For the most part, I'm trying to think if there's anything
we
in
could go over their
particular.
allied beasts and shit, like the Draconades,
Nah.
That's we already know. That's only thing that we could do is if we wanted to, we could go over the units.
There is one thing I want to say about their allied beasts. So the fucking I'm gonna forget what they're called now. Shit, hold up, real quick. That seems right.
I gotta go on a rant about Central.
While Philip was looking for this, if we wanted to, we could go into the units, because I know hearing sequesters could be a little confusing, but realistically, that might be something y'all want to look into yourselves, because that's more involving tabletop than it is just the lore.
Okay, so Tarlons.
Tarlons?
Yes. So Tarlons are really, really interesting beasts. So they're beasts that exist out in the stars of Azir. They don't live in Azir proper. They live out in the celestial realm, so to speak.
So they're probably closer to the Seraphon than anything else, because the Seraphon live in the heavens of Azir.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But the really interesting thing about Tarlons, you know what they do for fun?
Something horrible.
They smash meteors at each other.
How big are these things?
They're that big.
Oh, that's some bullshit. Those
Yeah.
are some bitch ass meteors, or they're really fucking strong.
They're really fucking strong.
Are those lion birds?
No, they're more like ram birds.
Ram birds?
Yeah, no, they have horns that let them to butt these things. These things, when they're actually on the ground, a single headbutt from a Tarlon can destroy castle walls.
Holy fuck!
You know how Knight Arcana or Lord Arcanums prove themselves to Tarlons?
Did they get hit by them and not die?
By playing basically baseball with meteors with them. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Gonk!
Yeah, basically.
Fucking hilarious.
So basically, the way Lord Arcanums attract their attention is they will project their they will do an astral projection out into where they're playing, and the Tarlons are like, "Oh look, player 3 has entered the field." Bonk!
So this makes me
Let's
think.
play catch,
This
Dad.
makes me think. This makes me think. Back to Kragnos and how he's like the god of earthquakes and how like he'll look, oh, I need to get this wall down. He'll like stomp his feet and do his little dumbass dance to make earthquakes happen and tear down walls. I can see him doing that, and there's a Tarlon sitting there just like bonk, and the whole wall explodes outwards, and they're all just like, bitch, and just walks away.
Yeah, no, Tarlons are kind of fucking terrifying.
That's amazing.
To be fair, when Kragnos does it, the entire wall crumbles.
Oh no, I'm just giving Kragnos shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the Tarlons. Oh, but also Yndrasta. So Yndrasta is the personal huntress of Sigmar.
She hunts big things.
Yes. And also, almost no Stormhost wants to work with her. She has been reforged. No, she's been reforged so many times. She is almost completely emotionless.
Oh, she dies a lot.
Yeah. And like she is so single-minded and so focused on achieving her goal for
I'm assuming
Sigmar
she'll kill off a whole
that-
Stormhost trying to get her quarry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Stormhost, like, they respect her,
But they know that going
she
with her-
kills Mega Gargants for shits and giggles.
But they know going with her is basically a suicide mission.
It can be, yeah. And then, of course, there's the two dragons.
And
Krondys-
these are the new ones. These are the new ones that got. Funny enough, they got announced like fucking 5 months ago.
No. They just came out for sale for this week.
No, but they
Yeah,
got
no, they got announced, like, 6 months ago.
No, like 3.
They were announced, like, springtime. Or leaked.
I know they've been announced for a while before they went back to sale, but they got sent back in R&D the second time. So that surprised me.
But yeah, so there's Krondys, the son of Dracothion, and then there's Karazay the Scarred.
And these are the Draconiths. These are the
No,
dragons.
these are dragons.
I thought they were the Draconids because these are the ones that Kragnos fucked over in his lore. I thought that was specifically like the Draconids or the Dracolith race.
Draconith.
Draconiths. Yeah, these are the Draconiths.
No, these are proper dragons. These are the legitimate, like, heirs to Dracothion.
Yeah,
dragons.
but those are Draconiths.
I'm almost fucking positive this is the race because
Now, they may be Dargans, but their race is called Draconith.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, okay, for a second I was freaking out, and I'm pretty sure they came back because Kragnos came back, and
By
they're
the way,
like, Red Eyes mean.
When we say Dargan, we do mean dragon, but it's like in high school, our friend Ross just said Dargan one day when Magic the Gathering.
Which is actually really funny because I know for a fact that I was saying Dargan before I met y'all, but it's for a different reason. I forget what it is, but y'all said Dargan too, and it freaked me the fuck out because I was like, I knew Philip in high school, so I can see why he's saying it. Why the fuck are you saying it like this?
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you, Ross.
It's because we used to say Durgan.
Durgans.
Yeah, Durgans.
Yeah, y'all would say Durgans. We said Dargans.
Dargan.
They're different. They're subspecies of dragons, obviously.
Yep.
Durgans,
Anyway,
and Dargans.
Krondys is like a ruler. He's a massively powerful wizard on tabletop. Karazay.
He angry.
Karazay fucking angry. No, so like if you look at his model and like his artwork, he's got scars and like cracked horns and shit.
But they're brothers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The scars and cracked horns are from Kragnos. Like, he fucking fucked Kragnos.
And didn't die.
Yeah, and didn't die, but Kragnos fucked him up. And he's kind of salty about it. But yeah, and then there's a bunch of other named characters.
And as fucking hilarious as all of this is, if you motherfuckers want us to go back in over Stormcast on a vote, we'll do it. And it'll be more detailed than this. And we will hate our lives for it.
Yeah,
We thought we done were pretty detailed.
And there's so much more.
Yeah, so literally, like, what we're doing here is we basically did, like, 10 minutes of review on, like, the Lexicanum, and we were like, yeah, that's good enough. We're going to just talk about what we know, what we want to talk about.
We learned already a lot.
Almost everything that we talked about, I already knew just from talking about it. It's just the slightly more nitpicky things that I wasn't aware of. But even if you're not talking about Sigmarines, they're just so integral to the game that you almost can't get away from them.
Yeah.
So you end up talking about them anyway.
Yeah, but if you want to learn more about, like, the specifics of, like, the Judic...
God, it's such a good model. The Celestine Prime model is so cool.
Oh, yeah, but, dude, look at the dragons. Like...
Bitch, dragons always look good. We talk about...
That's fair.
Yeah,
Anyway, this is a podcast, so visuals aside.
I'm going to talk about a picture.
Yeah. I mean, if you want, I can describe it in detail.
So is
No.
this
All in all, I do believe that this is going to be the end of the talking about Stormcast part of the podcast. For those who don't want to hear Mitchell rant about Cetra for the next 3.5 days, feel free to log off now. For those who are here for the bullshit, Mitchell, you have a green
So
light.
One last reminder before we get to that, guys. These guys need interaction for sure. If you want,
Please, for the love of God, I need friends.
I looked on Spotify. You know how many people actually get to the end of the episode?
How many?
Over 50%.
Hey,
Heyo.
that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
To be fair, when you hear our dumbass, like the hilarity always ensues. Realistically, guys, we have maybe 2 more episodes that are quote unquote scripted, but after that, it's gonna be strictly polls. And if we don't get a poll, we're just gonna kind of wing something. But we really want to interact with y'all. We really want to talk about what y'all want to know. We want to give y'all the information that y'all want week by week. So we really want interaction with y'all. We love you guys, and
Tell us all about your crackhead army lists that you want to run for shits and
Oh,
giggles.
please, Lord. But yeah, so
I have 90 dryads for my list.
Oh, yeah, right. I run.
Eventually, I'm gonna have the
Listen.
the short flying boys. So
I aspire to cosplay Jurassic Park. But yeah, so don't be scared to follow us on social media, and I promise y'all here in the next week or 2 we will hop on social media better. We'll clean up our Facebook profile. We'll clean up our Twitter. We'll actually fucking make our Instagram,
You
and
gotta probably do that.
we'll make all of that a little more kosher so it's easier for y'all. But feel free to reach out to us, comment on our shit, talk to us. I have literally no sleep schedule, so I will answer you at 8 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning or fucking anywhere. I don't sleep. I hate my life. Anywho.
If it's not him, it's me.
Listen, I got you at night. Mitchell got you in the morning, and Phil will peek in occasionally, somewhere between.
Well, you work for the county too. You don't do jack squat.
No, I work for the county, but my ass actually
Out
has
in the
to do
fucking
work to
woods.
do shit. I don't get to sit in my office on my computer all
Not
day.
only that,
Anyway.
he works out in the fucking woods, so him having signal is like praise Jesus.
It was a half day for him.
No, it wasn't.
But
Anyway.
anywho, so just feel free to contact us and whatnot. We're gonna need the interaction with you guys to set up future episodes and whatnot, and we just really we would enjoy hearing from you. That being said, I do believe Mitchell can now rant.
So you know what they did to Cetra? So it was an author. I forget
Nobody cares.
Oh.
Oh God, I'm gonna get shot.
He was reaching. For a second, I was like, "Man, is he gonna sultily pause the episode?" Then I was, "Oh no, he's going for the gun."
So Cetra, they actually reforged Cetra's soul. Like it was an author, and they changed Cetra's name to like something very
Sertra or something like that.
Sertra or yeah.
Citra.
And they just like that's all they did. And
He's
they're
a
like,
Stormcast now. But
yeah. It was like, oh no, he died in the book. Oh whoops. It was like it's supposed to be fan service. It's like you did him so dirty. This guy had the biggest will in the world.
do you know why it's bullshit that they made Cetra a Stormcast? Cetra does not serve. That is all.
It's true. That's
Wait,
another
which
reason.
one's Cetra again?
He's the king of the Tomb Kings. He's like the eternal king.
Kimry.
Like realistically, Sigmar would have plucked up Cetra's soul, made him a Stormcast, and reforged him. He would have shot Cetra out of lightning, and Cetra would have been like, "All right, I'm fucking off now," and then just left with his whole ass Stormcast body, and been like, "Yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want."
Here's the thing that we didn't cover. When you're reforged, you lose all your memories of the mortal.
Yeah, but Cetra wouldn't because he doesn't serve.
Majority of them lose. Very few Stormcast remember their mortal lives.
Yeah.
But Cetra would because it would help Cetra,
It's Cetra.
not serve.
Etc.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think we're good. I think that's it. Unless you want to rant some more.
I don't know. Did you all want to talk about something?
I mean,
No, this episode we got pretty in depth. It was pretty messy there for a little bit, so I'm good.
Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm still trying to make up my mind whether I want to do Knights Excelsior or Hammers of Sigmar.
I think you should do Hammers of Sigmar.
Yeah, because like I love the Knights
Because
Excelsior.
you can also just run 10 dragons.
But also
10 Dargans.
But also,
Yeah.
and is Hammerhand.
And it's
has a model, and it's hilarious.
Yes.
But I'm doing Hollowed Knights because I love my Redeemer units.
Not to mention
Technically,
I also have,
you could play your Hollowed Knights and your Thick Fight army at the same time because they're both order.
That's the plan.
Ew!
Yeah.
You need to fucking oh my god, I'm forgetting the word.
Well, Sean finally saw the model today, and he agrees. That is a thick thigh.
No, hold on. I'm thinking. God, what is the fucking? I can't believe I'm spacing out on the word you use when you have to make alterations to a model.
Kit bash?
Kit bash. Fuck. You have the kit bash. I have the kit bash. Stormcast, who's basically his hand is basically just glued to Alariel's thigh constantly because he's touching the butt. And that's just what he's like hanging on the beetle for dear fucking life, but he's always touching the butt.
I'm tempted to not even just to infuriate. Maybe not you, but potentially, definitely you, and potentially you, or definitely Philip and potentially Mitchell. Probably not.
You don't understand
Jacob.
the amount of armies that I have gone through. That was like, I might do Beastmen.
Every single time Mitchell talks about, I'm going to be doing this Space Marine chapter, I'm like, give it a couple months.
Well,
a couple days.
I'm kind of thinking to never touch Sigmarines or Stormcast ever.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, please, there are just like Space Marine players, there are many Stormcast players.
There are fewer Stormcast players.
Yeah, that's actually mostly just in our group.
I mean, as a whole, like the poster boys always have everyone plays the poster boys. Like I was kind of,
but it's not nearly as prevalent in Sigmar.
They might
because you have more
start and then they go,
options.
It's like I like trees better.
The other thing about
because
Stormcast is that Stormcast can very much be an elite army, so they're a much more reasonably priced army to get into.
Also, you can't fucking kill them because they always come back to life.
That's yeah.
Can I put a thought in y'all's head, just real quick?
Maybe
Gotrek as a Stormcast Eternal.
Hey.
fuck.
I would say if Gotrek died,
Grungy will sit there and like personally forge him.
all I'm saying is if Gotrek, I would say he's a mortal hero. I would say he's definitely a hero, considering all the things he's done.
Yeah.
Well, and going back to the point of everybody playing, like Space Marines or Stormcast Eternals, you have more options in Age of Sigmar.
Yes, point
Yeah.
blank.
Absolutely.
I will say that when it comes to 40k, I think 40k is a little more in depth with like the sub factions of certain factions, like how you're.
Well, you can also make your own.
Like if you're a Stormcast, you're a Stormcast.
Well, you can make your own
No.
too.
What I mean is, if you're a Stormcast, you're a Stormcast.
Only Stormcast.
If you're a Stormcast, you're a Stormcast. But in 40k, if you're an Imperial player, there's like 19 different things you could be to be an Imperial player.
Well, also, what's Age of Sigmar? You are able to throw in 400 points of allies when you're at 2,000 points. So, like, my Cruel Boys army? What?
You can throw in 500. It's up to a quarter.
I thought it was only 400. For match play?
Oh, for match play, yes.
It's
But I also
400.
think...
Because
I also don't... I think for narrative play, I don't think it's point-based. I think it's model-based.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
No, unit. Probably. Because with match
Yeah, unit-based,
I mean, still for you with your trees, you're gonna have so many fucking units of trees. Like you'd still gotta put in a
Well,
decent
with
amount.
my Cruel Boys, I threw in 2 Arachnarok spiders.
Are those not orcs?
And those are Gloomspite Gits.
Yeah, those are Grabos.
But they match thematically, so I just threw them in there.
I mean, realistically, I would say that your boys are basically gloom spites, but just less cave, more swamp.
Well, I mean,
There's still fungus involved.
What he did with those is the same concept that I'm doing with whenever I get a knight for my Admech.
Yes, the difference
Sort
is
of, kind of
that-
ish.
Yeah.
The difference is that in Age of Sigmar, there is no battle forging.
So you don't lose any because
Because
I can run
40K
trees with Stormcast. I can run.
this is what it means. So
Durden with City Sigmar.
In Admech, you have these things called Doctrina, and that's something that you get being Admech if you're Battle Forged, meaning everything in your army has the Adeptus Mechanicus keyword. I don't know if that's the keyword, but let's just say it's the Adeptus Mechanicus keyword.
Yeah.
Your Adeptus Mechanicus Knight doesn't have the Adeptus Mechanicus keyword. So including your Knight means you would lose your Doctrina. You wouldn't be able to use that ability, but you would get the Knight. That's the payoff. The Knight
except
isn't
for the
worth it.
fact that there is a new rule in 9th edition. You can include 1 unit of Knights
per detachment.
But let's say you want to run... Let's say you have a 1,500 point force of Admech, and you want to include a 500 point force of Militarum to include like a Baneblade.
You would lose your...
You would lose your Doctrina, and you would lose a lot of your...
Synergy.
kind
of.
not necessarily
abilities
synergy,
and
but
shit.
a lot of your abilities, like your big overarching abilities that tie your entire army together.
But that's what Battleforged mean. It means that every single unit in your army shares a certain keyword. So, like for my Space Marines, what their special thing is their battle tactics or battle doctrines.
Combat tactics.
Combat tactic, which is like the Devastator Doctrine.
Combat doctrines. Sorry.
Yeah, which is their Devastator Doctrine, Combat Assault Doctrine, Tactical Doctrine. If I was to include, once again, a knight or a Baneblade from the Arm, I would not get my Combat Doctrines because that Baneblade does not have the Adeptus Astartes keyword. And that's the problem, because in Age of Sigmar, that shit don't matter. You can have a little bit of elf, a little bit of tree, a little bit of golden boy, a sprinkle of dwarf, a little bit of Durgan. Like, you can do all kinds of shit for a bunch of really cool thematic armies.
So what you're telling me is I basically have to canonize you.
Good luck with that one, my friend. Pretty sure GW looked at my character sheet, they would immediately set it on fire.
I don't need the specific character. I just need the lore.
But yeah, no. But that's the problem.
Yeah.
With that's what makes 40K a little less
Well, it makes it different from Age of Sigmar.
But what that does mean is that with the new rule is you can't have a knight and keep your Doctrina, which is nice.
Yeah. So in Age of Sigmar, the big thing is that if you say you have a Stormcast army, then if you're playing like a 2,000 point game, then 1,600 of it like in match play, 1,600 of it has to be Stormcast. Mm-hmm. But then you can have up to 400 points of anything out of the Alliance of Order. Mm-hmm.
Elves, trees,
dwarves,
humans.
humans.
It's like having what's it called in Magic? Whenever your backboard or what's it?
Your sideboard.
Sideboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I want to say sideboard. It's just you get to play. When you have a blue deck, and you get to play red cards.
It's like having a blue commander. It's like having a mono blue commander, but you get to have red cards for shits and giggles.
Yeah. It's really more, if you're going to compare it to Magic, it's really more like splashing a color.
But what makes that good is if you're smart about it, you can sub shit in from a different faction that your faction lacks. Like for instance, let's just assume that Stormcast didn't have big dragon models. Mm-hmm. So what they would lack was their units are beefy as fuck, but what they would lack would be monstrous units, behemoths. So you would then look at, let's just say elves, and let's say they have a bunch of big sphinxes. Mm-hmm. I know Tekla's not a big sphinx, but I don't know if they have. Let's just say in this particular example, elves have a bunch of monstrous, Seraphon. They have dinosaurs. Their order. You would then include some Stegodons from the Seraphim because they're order, and that would give you big behemoth monsters that would help your troops deal with the fact that they don't have any of those. Yeah. So it gives you a lot more opportunity to compensate for what your faction lacks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, I will say that isn't super prevalent, however, because I do know that a lot of unit listed rosters and codexes in Sigmar are really, really well put together. So there isn't a whole lot of my faction is super, super, super weak to this. But if you're intelligent and know the game well enough, you can really get some really cool lists and really cover your bases.
What that's really beneficial for is more for narrative gameplay, where you say like, hey, I want to play Stormcast. I want to recreate the
Battle of Burning Sky.
I want to recreate a battle set during the time when they were searching for Alariel. Mm-hmm. So I want to have a lot of Stormcast, but I want to sprinkle in some wood elves.
Yeah.
So then you're gonna have 1,600 points of Stormcast, and then a couple of let's say wizards from the trees who can then summon in more shit.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha.
Oh wait, have you ever heard of my Soul Black Gravelords list?
His vampire list, basically.
My vampire list.
His undead list.
My undead list.
What?
Have you ever heard of it?
What?
That's a no.
No. Okay. So, it's Nagash.
Who is literally the god
yes.
of death.
Yes, okay.
And 3 Terrorgeists.
Gigantic zombie bat dragons. That's his whole army. It's just Nagash and Terrorgeist.
It's Nagash and his pets.
You know you should do for a Gloomspite get list is.
By the way, I named every single one of those.
Who
things.
let the dragons out?
It's Joe, Jack, and Johnson.
Joe, Jack, and Johnson. It's not. I want you to make a Gloomspite get list, and it's one at the smallest possible HQ, the tiniest fucking goblin wizard for your HQ, and then it's just Arachnarok spider, Arachnarok spider, Arachnarok spider, Arachnarok spider, Arachnarok spider,
You
Arachnarok
you're
spider.
only limited to 4 behemoths per
Then
army.
you're gonna have 4 of those motherfuckers, and then the rest are squigs. There's only 1 goblin in my goblin army. The rest are just bugs and mutated piles of flesh.
Or just bugs and slightly less active fungus.
Well, is
I think that's it, guys.
That's it. I have
yeah.
one more comment. The total count was 83.
this man really kept
It didn't get the triple digits. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed. But Philip's,
Well, it took a while.
Philip's exasperated sigh makes up for it.
Sigma,
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 Sigma, Sigma, Sigma, Sigma, Sigmar.
You're missing 3.
Oh no, me and him both said it, so it's double. Or the count was that we just did double it.
I think. No, okay.
That put us in the triple digits.
Hey,
I think it's like 102.
And with that, we end.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks for having me. Bye.